Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the New York City Council hearing for the Committee on Small Business, joint with the Committee on Immigration. At this time, I'd like to remind everyone to please silence all devices, and at no point during the hearing may you approach the dais. If you wish to testify at today's hearing, please see a sergeant at the back of the room to fill out a testimony slip. Chair, we are ready to begin.
This hearing is called to order. Good morning, everyone. I am Councilmember Chanel Thomas Henry, Chair of the Committee on Small Business. Thank you for joining us for today's joint hearing between the Committee on Small Business and Committee on Immigration to examine the economic impacts of federal immigration policy changes. I'd like to begin by thanking my co-chair, Deputy Whip, Elsie Encarnacion. I'd like to also thank the representatives from the administration, members of the public, and my council colleagues who have joined us here today, including Councilmember Moreno. The work it takes to start and maintain a business in New York City cannot be overstated. It is a noble and complex endeavor to turn the dream of a business into reality. And the commercial corridors of New York City thrive because of this entrepreneurial spirit. Our commercial corridors also owe a lot to our immigrant entrepreneurs and workers that help create and maintain our city's small businesses. In New York City, immigrant workers of all statuses are common in small businesses, and almost half of the city's businesses are owned by immigrants. Navigating permits, licensing, regulations, leases, and rent is complicated enough. But the tenacity required to create and sustain a small business in New York is being challenged further by the xenophobic political landscape currently being facilitated by the federal government. The seemingly lawless and violent activities of immigration and customs enforcement across the country and in our neighborhoods, including in my district, have left immigrants terrified of leaving their homes. Once bustling commercial corridors in immigrant majority enclaves across the city have reported decreased foot traffic, and businesses in these corridors also report workers opting to stay home due to the fear of workplace raids. The effects of the Trump administration's immigration policies extend well beyond these immigrant majority neighborhoods. New York's hospitality, health, construction, and agricultural industries rely heavily on immigrant workers, especially undocumented immigrants, and we've already beginning to hear the challenges faced by the industries due to the administration's immigration constraints and mass deportation agenda. The whiplash caused by the termination or pauses on immigration statuses that provide workforce authorization complicates small business employment abilities, and the recent decision by the Trump administration to ban any business owned by lawful permanent residents or green card holders from assessing Small Business Administration's guaranteed loans could result in certain immigrant-owned businesses turning to unreliable and unsustainable capital. Our small businesses and commercial corridors are suffering because of these xenophobic and chaotic federal immigration policy changes. And today's hearing seeks to understand what our small businesses need in the face of these challenges. Our immigrant community and our small business community are what make our city special. I look forward to hearing from the administration on how we can collaborate to ensure that these communities continue to exist in New York City with dignity and safety. I would like to thank Tyler Walls and Rebecca Barillo from Central Staff for their work putting this hearing together, as well as my own staff, Derek Slaughter, Franklin Richards, and Sierra Smith, and everyone working in the background to help make this hearing possible. I would also like to point out that we have been joined by Councilmember Hanks and Council members Joseph and Hanif have joined us from Zoom. I will now turn it over to my co-chair, Councilmember Encarnacion, for her opening statement.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. All right, we're here to help some people. Let's get it energized. So I am Council Member Elsie Encarnacion, Deputy Whip of the New York City Council, Chair on Immigration. New York City, at its core, is a city of immigrants. Nearly 40% of population was born outside of the United States, and many more New Yorkers are the children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren of immigrants. Our city has long been a global hub for creativity, opportunity, and economic growth, and immigrant communities, past and present, are central to that legacy. Immigrant New Yorkers play a vital role in our economy. They are the driving force in the workforce and a cornerstone of our small business community. As my co-chair noted, immigrant-owned businesses make up nearly half of all the small businesses in New York City. Key industries, including healthcare, agriculture, construction, and hospitality, depend heavily on immigrant workers. Immigrants are not only workers, they are entrepreneurs, innovators, and job creators. They are essential to the strength and resiliency of our city's economy. At the same time, building a business or sustaining a livelihood in New York City is already challenging. Today, those challenges are being compounded by a series of harmful and chaotic federal policy decisions that directly target immigrant communities. Across the country, we are seeing immigration enforcement actions that are aggressive and too often indiscriminate. In our own city, there have been deeply troubling arrests at courthouses, busy streets, residential neighborhoods. Many of these so-called collateral arrests are individuals that were detained simply for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. For many immigrants, including longtime New Yorkers who came here in the pursuit of opportunity, this has created a climate of fear and uncertainty. What was meant to be the American dream has for some become an American nightmare. Families are afraid to leave their homes. People with different immigration statuses are being caught in shifting and often conflicting federal policies and legal challenges. These policies have real economic consequences. Many immigration statuses are tied directly to work authorization. When those protections are removed or threatened, individuals lose their ability to work and businesses lose valued employees. This instability harms not only immigrant communities, but also our small businesses and the broader economic health of New York City. This is why today's hearing is so important. I'm very grateful to the administration and to the members of the public for joining us to discuss how we can really respond to these challenges and better support our immigrant communities and our small businesses during this time of uncertainty. I would like to thank my committee staff for their work in preparing for today's hearing, including Senior Legislative Counsel Nicole Cotta, Senior Legislative Policy Analyst Rebecca Barilla, Principal Financial Analyst Navi Baines, and Assistant Finance Director Florentine Cabor. I also want to thank my staff, Deputy Chief of Staff Stephanie Herrera, Legislative Director Adam Newman Bernstein, and everybody working behind the scenes to ensure this hearing runs smoothly, including our incredible Sergeant at Arms. I will now turn it back to my co-chair to proceed.
Thank you, Councilmember Encarnacion. I do want to make one correction. We are joined by our Majority Whip, Councilmember Hanks. I will now turn it over to the committee counsel to administer the oath before we hear from the mayoral administration.
Thank you, chairs. We will now hear testimony from the administration. We will hear from Haris Khan from the Department of Small Business Services and Lorena Lucero from the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. Before we begin, I will administer the affirmation. Panelists, please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before these committees and to respond honestly to council member questions?
I do.
Thank you. You may begin when ready.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning, Chair Thomas Henry, Chair Encarnacion, members of the City Council's committees on small business and on immigration. My name is Haris Khan. I serve as Chief of Staff at the New York City Department of Small Business Services, and I'm pleased to join today's hearing with Deputy Commissioner Lorena Lucero from the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. At SBS, we aim to deliver economic security for all New Yorkers, including immigrant New Yorkers, by connecting them to good jobs, supporting small businesses, and investing in our neighborhoods. More than half of New York City's 180,000 small businesses are owned by immigrants, including 56% of all storefront businesses. We recognize that heightened federal immigration enforcement has increased fear and anxiety across communities. And in response, SBS has continued our efforts to prioritize outreach in immigrant communities, circulate Moya's Know Your Rights collateral, which includes guidance regarding ICE interactions and Moya's free legal assistance hotline number. Notably, 49% of New Yorkers speak a language other than English at home, and 23% are LEP. To ensure our services are reaching all corners of New York, our dedicated outreach team canvasses small businesses across commercial corridors. Our outreach staff are fluent in 8 languages, and SBS provides translated materials, often in 20 plus languages, promoting relevant business service offerings and workforce opportunities. Our outreach is further supported by 600 plus community partners, many of whom themselves have deep ties to immigrant communities. Since launch of our outreach team, we've engaged more than 70,000 New Yorkers through over 1,000 outreach events in all 5 boroughs and in dozens of ethnic enclaves. From door-to-door support in Chinatown to emergency response in Little Pakistan, SBS's outreach model meets small businesses where they are. Our support also extends to street vendors, the smallest of small businesses. SBS is proud to build the city's first ever Office of Street Vendor Services to provide street vendors with education and resources and the city's support. We welcomed Executive Director Karina Kaufman Gutierrez earlier this week to advance this work. And this year alone, we've already reached over 500 street vendors, and we're excited to double down on this outreach effort in the coming months as new licenses are issued. Federal immigration policy changes have not just impacted immigrant New Yorkers through enforcement actions. The Small Business Administration at the federal government recently made changes to exclude all but U.S. citizens and U.S. nationals from applying to SBA-backed loans, leaving behind a major gap in financing for small businesses. Despite this shift, SBS remains committed to delivering our most in-demand services and facilitating access to capital through our 7 business solution centers, our NYC Funds Finder platform, and city-led loan products. Under the leadership of Mayor Mamdani, SBS revamped our NYC Future Fund to expand access to affordable financing for seasonal and growing small businesses by reducing interest rates, reducing the minimum loan size, and reducing the monthly repayment rates. Small businesses can learn about the Future Fund and a lot more at the city's largest resource fair for small businesses, the SBS Small Business Month Expo. It's happening on May 28th of this year, and the event will feature language interpretation, will culminate a month of small business resource programming. We're expecting to have 2,500 attendees and dozens of resource providers. We would greatly appreciate your support in promoting Small Business Month programming by visiting nyc.gov/smallbizmonth. Additionally, we believe the FIFA World Cup will drive incredible foot traffic for the city's most diverse communities, and SBS has been working closely to coordinate with the Mayor's World Cup team and NYC Tourism to promote small business engagement opportunities through our FIFA World Cup mobile outreach tour, where we're going to bring Mobi into corridors across the city through email newsletters and small social media promotion of both the business toolkit and a hosting playbook. Our mobile unit outreach tour event dates that will occur across all 5 boroughs are happening on May 13th in Jackson Heights, May 15th in the Bronx, May 19th in Little Haiti in Brooklyn, and on May 22nd in Port Richmond and Staten Island, and May 26th in Koreatown in Manhattan, and we're planning for Little Senegal as well in Upper Manhattan, and we're deciding on the date in the coming days. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk about SBS's work in support of immigrant entrepreneurs during this trying time. I look forward to our continued partnership to protect and empower our immigrant communities and the businesses that keep New York City running. We'll welcome any questions you may have.
Next. Oh, no, that's okay. Thank you for your testimony. I would like to welcome Council Members Maloney and Salam. So I will start with a couple of questions and then turn it over to my colleagues. So public reporting has shown that once bustling commercial corridors have fallen quiet all over the city as fears of ISIS presence persists in our communities. How has SBS approached its work in immigrant communities in light of the federal immigration policy changes?
Thank you, Chair. Since January of last year, we've definitely heard from business leaders, community members, small business owners themselves of a real shift in commercial activity that they're experiencing and perceiving on the ground. And many of them are saying that it's impacted their bottom line. They're seeing less customers come in. In some cases, they're even seeing workers that are not showing up, and some level of absenteeism amongst the workforce. And so it's very concerning. And it's because of that reason that we've completely been committed and are doubling down on our efforts to reach immigrant New Yorkers. And none of that commitment will ever shift. And we're only doing more in response to this. And it's also the reason why we have this upcoming mobile outreach unit tour. We're particularly targeting and making sure our services are accessible to the littles of New York City. So Little Chinatown, Little Pakistan, all the littles that you can think of in New York City. Those are part of our priority neighborhoods that we want to reach to ensure New Yorkers can get the services that they need.
Has the team at SBS kind of thought about it internally? Any ideas on how these commercial corridors can be protected or made active again? Like any, in addition to the Littles program around FIFA, like will that be an ongoing summer program, or how can we look forward to?
So we haven't received, what we know is this administration was committed to ensuring that we are able to capture the economic opportunity that FIFA presents. And so what we've been ensuring in our conversations with the World Cup team, which is led by the incredible Czar Maya Honda, and also NYC Tourism, is to ensure that when they do begin marketing campaigns across the city on FIFA and they're promoting small businesses, they're promoting small businesses in the neighborhoods that feature immigrants of the countries that are represented in the World Cup. We have 48 plus countries in the World Cup. New York City is the one special place in this world where all 48 countries plus hundreds more countries are featured across commercial corridors, and we want to make sure they're the ones that benefit. So already, just as tourism has begun finalizing their business toolkit, you may have heard, and we'll definitely hear of, there's a $26 special, a 5-borough kind of tournament where businesses can sign up if they offer a $26 special during the World Cup, can be featured on the tourism website. There's a calendar of events that tourism is preparing that businesses can submit into. We are ensuring that all of that work is being promoted and is reaching out. So already in the past 2 weeks, we've reached 56,000 New Yorkers to promote those services and opportunities to engage with the World Cup. Again, it is a one point in time. It is this summer. It's between June and July. We are committed wherever we see opportunities that the administration is taking or opportunities that exist. We want to ensure that that word is then going out into immigrant communities across the city.
Does that campaign include like door to door, like physically going to the businesses, or is it predominantly online outreach? What does the outreach of that campaign look like?
To the degree that we've got a small but mighty team, we have a roughly 6-person outreach team for citywide outreach across the 180,000 small businesses. So to the degree that we're able to, we're doing that. And the dates that I mentioned in our testimony, the 5-borough tour, where we're bringing our mobile outreach unit, the truck, as well as the people. We're tabling, we're gonna promote the tabling opportunity, and we're gonna have our teams do canvassing of that corridor. And that includes, like in Port Richmond, that's a community with a lot of Mexican immigrants and other folks from Latin America. In Little Haiti, we're gonna speak to Haitian immigrants and other Caribbean immigrants in that part of Councilmember Joseph's district. And so in Little Senegal, we'll ensure we're speaking to other immigrants of Black and African descent. So we're really focused on ensuring it's not just here's an email that goes out to thousands of businesses. Here's emails, here's our regular social media drumbeat, here's a potential press opportunity, here's us being in the field door knocking, and here are a series of events in local communities that we'd love, and as they get finalized, we'll share them. We have the dates, we don't have the particular flyers yet, but once they are finalized, we'll share them with member offices as well, so we'd love to have all of you featured in them. And help share
I
the
was
word.
just going to volunteer that. I can't speak for all my colleagues, but my office will definitely be an extension, at least for my district. Any tools that you have, please give them, and we can be on the ground and talk to our businesses and make sure they don't miss out on this opportunity. A couple more questions. I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues for questions. I do want to mention that we've been joined by Councilmember Brewer. What challenges, if any, has SBS found that small businesses face because of ICE presence in immigrant communities specifically? So like if you have like top 5 that businesses has said have been the main hardship.
Yeah, sure. I think it really comes down to there's a fear and a real fear for personal safety that's emerged. As an immigrant New Yorker myself, that fear is very real to me. And then there's a fear of the business and how the business is doing. And for many immigrant New Yorkers that are small business owners and entrepreneurs, for them, this is the pathway to some level of self-sufficiency and other traditional pathways may not exist as easily for them. And so for them, having this pathway be jeopardized by business being lower than usual, by having a sense and a perception that less customers are approaching that business, it really creates significant anxiety in whether they can make it in the city. And it's on the customer side and it's also on the workforce side. When you run this business, employee retention is huge. You don't want to continuously be looking for people. You want to be able to, and as a former business owner, you know this yourself. And so the twin challenges of the business side, the demand, and customers not showing up as much as they used to, which is what we've heard from business leaders and community members. And then on the other side, the challenge this has created with employee retention, since there is some level of worker absenteeism that we've heard and seen. So it's those two challenges that keep emerging in some of the conversations we've had with community members.
One more before I turn it over to my co-chair. Does SBS have a sense of how this change in immigration policy might affect the economic growth of New York City long term?
So it's hard to isolate, there's a variety of macroeconomic factors at play. There's the tariffs, there's supply chain disruption, there's inflation, there's the general affordability crisis. You look at commercial rents in the city, the level at which they're skyrocketing. It's really been difficult for businesses to survive. For some businesses, when you're really successful in your business, that's actually, you face a penalty at the end of your lease term, because now the landlord may increase the commercial rent for you because now they realized you are actually pretty successful. And so there's a whole variety of challenges, but certainly when we anecdotally know that immigrant businesses make up more than half of or statistically we know immigrant businesses make up more than half of our business community, and we know how vital it is to our economic health. Certainly when there's a sense of fear, personal fear, we wonder how many entrepreneurs are choosing to not be an entrepreneur at this time because of all the factors they'd have to contend with this landscape. And also all the folks that are putting all of their savings into risk by engaging in this work and not having the demand that they could have typically relied on. And so definitely anecdotally, such kind of changes and the fear that has been generated over the past year or so does have an impact on our economic growth. And we're a city of immigrants, and it's kind of part of our fabric, and it's something that we're concerned about. And we want to make sure wherever opportunities exist where we can counter that. So we saw clearly FIFA was a multi-billion-dollar opportunity where it's already going to be focused on 48 countries. Why not ensure that countries and immigrants of those countries in New York City that have vibrant commercial corridors and businesses can take part in that opportunity and help? It's not gonna, I'm certain it won't completely alleviate a year and a half worth of pain for some of these businesses, but it'll be something, and it'll be something that is positive and can ensure that the limited resources that are being dedicated to this World Cup can also have a tag-on, a follow-through effect on the economic health of those corridors.
Gotcha. Thank you. I'd like to mention that we've been joined by Councilmember Brooks Powers, and at this time, I will turn it over to Councilmember Encarnacion.
Thank you. So, in your statement, you mentioned that more than half of New York City's 180,000 are small businesses, and I mentioned that nearly 40% of the population was born outside of the U.S., making them immigrant communities. Your staff is about 6 people. Right? Your staff is about 6 people. Is that enough? 5?
Which part of the office?
The Moya
external
staff. Yes. No, your Moya staff.
The Moya office as a whole.
Correct.
It's about 60 for the whole 60 for the whole office.
But the budget provides for 5 of your staffers, correct? The Moya budget.
But yes, Chair. But as we mentioned during our preliminary budget hearing, the office as a whole is about 60 people.
Right, but okay.
You're
so
right. Though.
It's not enough. Is the point that I was trying to make here. There's not enough to cover all the small businesses. There's not enough to cover really all of the collaboration that needs to be done in order to protect the small businesses. Something that I've heard in my office directly from small businesses when a lot of these policies were coming into fruition was that our small businesses really didn't understand their rights. What was public space? What was considered public space? What was considered staff space? How could they protect their staff as well as their customers if there was to be, for example, a Nycc raid? So so my question really starts with one: how is the collaboration happening between your office and your office? Can you just detail that a little bit?
Thank you for the question, Chair. I can start just top level, and then I do want to address some of the outreach, I think, in regards to forward-facing materials. So really, and what SBS share is always a goal for an agency to ensure that immigration is not an afterthought, but it's truly embedded in the work. And I think what our colleague here Express is really showcases that. The work that we do with them is really threefold. We support them with language access and provide technical assistance as they're developing material and interpreting the law under Local Law 30. We also partner with them in outreach events. We have partnered with them just in this calendar year in four events. But it doesn't stop there. We also provide them with policy updates that might relate to their work. In addition to what was mentioned, some of the outreach material that we've put together and sort of to the comment that you made, we made changes to our forward-facing material to ensure that there was a Know Your Rights flyer that was provided in regards to what individuals could do if ICE comes into their workplace.
Yeah. And is SBS on the interagency task force?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And so, just yesterday we were in a meeting and one of our colleagues, Councilmember Shuang, mentioned many of her businesses, small businesses, they're not on the internet in terms of a website. They just don't have that kind of access or that kind of support. And so obviously this is a community that is operating in a different language. Many immigrant business owners, they were trying to get connected into what was going on with the FIFA World Cup, and really wanted to understand how we can support, because I think the point I was trying to make with the amount of staff and the amount of resources is that there's always going to be room for people to fall through the cracks, right? But in a time where we're talking about serious consequences, about deportation, about fear of being able to stay in this country, like we have to tighten up those resources to make sure that they don't. So I just wanted to understand, like in those cases, where would any one of my colleagues reach out to here to really close that loop?
So on Chair, I think you kind of referenced FIFA, right? Is that kind of part of the?
Yeah, I
or
mean,
you're
I
thinking more
think it's an
business
example of a
resources at
larger
large?
issue. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a huge thing coming into
Yeah.
New York, and we still have small businesses that aren't able to gain access to
So,
that.
so I think for us, we do have a 6-person, 5 to 6 currently at 5-person outreach team. We also operate 7 business solution centers, 1 in each borough. We also have a hotline, 888-SBS4-NYC. And particularly to your point on website accessibility and the digital literacy gap, that website, the digital divide, that website is supposed to serve as a more friendly, warm handoff space to get connected to services instead of logging onto the website and then going through 10 different tabs to figure out what you need. But you've got the hotline, you've got 7 business solution centers. We have our in-person team that is also going out to neighborhoods. Certainly more would help, but we have been committed to maximizing every resource that we have to deliver what we can, and proud that we just started our FIFA outreach work as soon as the materials were finalized by our partner agencies, and within a week, we're sharing 56,000 New Yorkers have been able to reach and have received these materials. Certainly, we're going to spend the next month doubling down on this because we know that this is not enough, and a lot of neighborhoods are not receiving that material. So we're going to go out there. We would love your support as well in this critical time where we only have less than 60 days. So we're going to do our best with the resources we have. We know our partner agencies are going to do their best, and any support we can get from community partners, local electeds, we would absolutely love that. And then at our Small Business Month Expo, which is our flagship, largest ever small business gathering for the year, which we'd love, again, everybody to please do share it in your newsletters and engage with your constituents. We're going to have not only tabling by tourism and other partners that will promote, again, some of these opportunities to the 2,500 plus people that show up in person. We're also going to have a panel discussion during that day with Maya, who's our czar for World Cup, with the president of the NYC Tourism, with leadership from SBS, to further share from the top on all of the ways in which we want people to engage. We're getting to a point where there's almost, I think it's 8 different ways in which small businesses can engage. and benefit from existing efforts that could help them with marketing, that could help them with some visibility. That's a lot of things to keep track of, and so we're intentionally trying to make sure it's in a toolkit that people can access with QR code and links, hyperlinks. It's also in person when we're talking to people, we're pointing them to the QR code. It's also at our large scale events in the expo, and it's also being shared through our email marketing. And of the 56,000 folks that we reached, that includes every single food service establishment that has an email with the Department of Health. We get that list, and we've made sure every single restaurant business, food business that we have a contact for has received that information.
Okay. And for Moya, what have you heard about those working in the fields like hospitality and construction about the effects of immigration policies on the workforce and their business operations?
Thank you for the question, Chair. And if you would allow me to take a bit of a step back, because just some data for you is that via our Ask Moya hotline and service that we do within Moya, we've only received 10 calls connected to just a small business specifically, but it's really been more about how to access legal services more than like directly on small businesses. But just to sort of say that at Moya, we support immigrants as a whole. Immigrant entrepreneurs are just one piece of the puzzle. In the larger spectrum, we provide support to immigrant and New Yorkers. And just to provide you with a bit of a stack to really sort of answer your question, undocumented immigrants have the highest labor participation, as you noted, of any group, yet they earn the lowest. Undocumented immigrants earn an average of about $36,000 compared to naturalized non-citizens who make about $50,000. The biggest concern we've heard just as a whole in regards to immigrants is remaining in status. Right now, as we've seen and as has been noted, the federal administration and any hopes of affirmative relief has really been halted. And the fear of even submitting an application for citizenship, people just don't want to because they're afraid of what might happen if they show up to a ceremony. So the bulk of the work that we've provided and the bulk of resources have been for our legal services that make up about 90% of the funding that we give out.
I agree. I've heard a lot of that feedback as well, and I know that when we're talking about what can be done, I think the frustration that all of us feel is like we're very limited as a city, and we're trying to understand how we can best support both of your offices to make sure that individuals are being supported, whether that be by language access, making sure that flyers and QR codes. I think those are great, but some of them just don't operate in that way. So I'm glad that we're going out into the streets. I also am going to encourage, obviously, that the expo be, bring it uptown, bring it to the Bronx, bring it in other places. We'll find a space for you. Just I know, but we want to make sure that it's accessible and that everybody feels a part of it, and that it's not somewhere midtown where people may not be familiar with or may not care to go to. So I just, that accessibility and that real compassion and care of saying like, we'll come to you, I think really works well with small businesses, especially because they have a lot on their plate as it is. So put that out there before I open it up to the other council members so that they can have some questions, but thank you.
As you've put it out there, we'll say if there's an opportunity, if you identify a location, a venue, an event that's already happening or something you'd want to work with us on, we'd be happy to bring our resources to. And we've done a series of events in the district with your office and your predecessor when you were running that office as chief of staff. And we're committed to that work. We want to be in every neighborhood. We're going to be in Little Senegal again for FIFA. And we've been in East Harlem even last week doing some outreach to local bodegas and delis as the city-owned grocery store conversation picks up. And so we're committed to this work. We'll be anywhere and everywhere you invite us to. Reach out to our teams, and we'll figure out the best way to staff and support.
Love that. And let's go both ways. If you're in my neighborhood, I should know and go.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now turn it over to Councilmember Moreno for questions.
Thank you, both Madam Chairs, for convening this hearing and for your leadership of each of these committees. Thank you for your testimony. Just following up on what everyone else was mentioning on the World Cup, I know that you said that SBS is coordinating for the World Cup and you expect incredible foot traffic. What specific steps are being taken to ensure outer borough businesses, small businesses, including Staten Island businesses, actually benefit economically instead of all the activity being concentrated in Manhattan tourist zones?
Thank you, council member. I think that really it's the leadership of our mayor and the first ever World Cup czar who ensured that the five fan events, the five fan zones that the city was going to work with the host committee on organizing are being organized in all boroughs, and that they're free, which is different than what was intended initially. That itself, I think, signals this direction of ensuring outer boroughs are represented and can engage with the economic opportunity. Then there's this series of opportunities that are being planned. You could engage in any business in New York City, including outer borough businesses, could engage in this five borough. We'll get the exact name, five borough tournament, I think it's called, where you could sign up for the $26 special and you'll be promoted as part of tourism's marketing material. So when tourists go in, they want to explore the list of people who are participating in this five borough tournament. You could see yourself listed there. There's a calendar of events that tourism is also putting together where businesses can be featured if they're doing FIFA-related engagements. And so there's a toolkit that we've developed that tourism has developed in coordination with us that lists all of these different types of engagements. Again, it's almost 8 different ways in which a business can participate in some of these free marketing opportunities for themselves. And so it's a lot. It's a bit overwhelming now. That's how many ways there are to engage. And so we are taking that to Port Richmond. We're taking that to Little Haiti. We've shared it across the business contacts that we have, and we're going to commit over the next month to doing that outreach to ensure that businesses can benefit from these opportunities.
In your testimony, you repeatedly mention outreach, resource fairs, translated materials, and know your rights information, which is great. But what measurable economic outcomes can you point to? Have business closures decreased? Has foot traffic improved? Have revenues stabilized? And I don't mean to sound cynical when I ask the question, but are we mostly measuring success by the number of flyers distributed and events held? Do those translate into real-world economic impact?
So there's opportunities for businesses to really plug into those World Cup, right? And there's things that they could do even today without any of these opportunities that we've been mentioning today in this hearing. A business, if it's part of their natural course to have games that are streamed, all that can continue. They don't need licenses from FIFA. They don't need a permit from SAPO. They don't need any other additional step. If they are a nightlife business in the North Shore and they already play games on their TVs, all of that can continue. They could easily just market it as like, this is a FIFA game night and you can come in. And there's some basic rules, but incredibly easy to follow. In most cases, they don't need to have any additional changes to their practices. And so we know naturally there's going to be an economic gain from just doing what they do. We as a city and at SBS, what we're committed to is where the city is intentionally creating opportunities for free marketing, let's spread those out across the city so that they could benefit. The city is also working in City Hall under their leadership, working towards a cultural passport that would also feature different neighborhoods where you can engage with the countries that are being featured in the World Cup. That, again, whenever that information comes out, we'll be promoting it. So as things come out from our partner agencies, we're spreading the word. And to your point, there's natural economic growth that will happen because business owners are going to be creative, and it's New York City, they're always creative. But to the extent that we can help support it, we will.
Thank you.
But before I turn it over to my colleague, because we keep talking about FIFA, I just want to ask, because we're a little over a month out. Everything is coming, everything is coming, everything is coming. How are our businesses going to know when it's here, right? Like, is there at this point, it would have to be a huge television blitz to say, hey, now you can look at the information for how you can benefit from FIFA. Huh? Nobody has a television. Something, Councilmember Brewer. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, if I go to the website now and I'm a small business and I see nothing, the likelihood that I'm going to go back 2 weeks from now, a month from now is very unlikely. Like, everyone knows FIFA is here.
Right. So there
But
is something as of
we haven't done a good job of putting the information out to let small business know how to participate in a meaningful way.
So as soon as materials were developed and finalized, and an engagement option like sign up, here's how you sign up, here's the real call to action. As soon as we received them, they've been out in the streets. We've shared them with our staff. We've shared them with the business owners. We've shared them with every single business owner that we have on our food and beverage and nightlife listservs. That includes the download and the coordination with health departments. So anybody that's a registered food service establishment permittee, if they've shared their email address, we've gotten that. And we know that it is the food beverage businesses that are the most relevant here with this conversation, right? There are other business types, like I've heard there's going to be a nail salon challenge where we're going to have nail salon technicians compete for the most creative, interesting ways to promote culture and life in countries of origin. But we know that economically, where a lot of foot traffic is going to come, is going to be restaurants, it's going to be bars, it's going to be nightlife. And so those are the businesses that we focused on. The minute these plans are finalized, materials are ready, we're sharing them. And we've been coordinating ahead of time with those agencies so they know that we want to work on this. We're committed to this work. We're here. And that's what we'll be doing for the next.
A recommendation, because I know you said of the 56,000 people reached, it's all the food businesses that are registered with the Department of Health.
Sorry, it's not all. I'm saying all the DOHMH registered food establishment permittees. That's included. That's a subset of the 56. It's a much broader 56,000.
Just a recommendation would be to share that list with New York City Tourism, because currently if you go to their website and you look under the different countries of recommendations of restaurants, they may have 4 for each country. So just maybe being proactive, because at this point in time, it's unrealistic for those, even a quarter of those businesses, to know where to send their information, where to be known. If we already have the data, let's proactively put it out there to all these people coming to New York to say, visit all of these small businesses.
So that's what we're sharing with those businesses is how can you be featured on tourism? So you could be featured on tourism's calendar.
Feature them all, is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Don't tell them how to get featured. We should proactively feature all of our small businesses in the city of New York because we have access to their information. I digress. Councilmember Hanks.
Thank you, chairs. And thank you so much, Commissioner. So in 2022, the council passed and then Mayor Adams signed Speaker Menin's one-stop shop bill, which requires SBS to create a one-stop shop NYC business portal, which all the applications, permits, licenses, related information to open and operate. The law, local law 94, requires that information be presented in citywide designated languages. What information on the portal is available in the citywide designated languages?
Thank you, Councilmember Hanks, Majority Whip Hanks. The portal is available, our understanding is it's available in 11 languages, and it's OTI that handles technology contracts in the city. We advised on the business content for the website.
How is SBS working to ensure the quality of the translations?
So as soon as the website was launched, in our role of providing advice to our partner agencies, we worked with OTI to further contract with another vendor to really focus in on the language translation, because we at SBS felt as though some of the translated material that it was generating naturally was not optimal. And so we worked with a partner, which included human review of the content across the 11 languages and tried to improve it so it's more user-friendly and understandable to immigrant New Yorkers. And so it's a mix of machine and human translations, and all of our pages in the resources by industry section, in the business services section, in the emergency preparedness section went through human review alongside translated vendor experts.
Okay, that's great to hear. Now I'm going to go a little bit locally. So for a business owner, and I heard you mentioned Port Richmond, but many business owners in Port Richmond don't even speak English or Spanish. They speak the indigenous language. What about small businesses and small business owners who are not proficient in one or more of the languages that is designated by the city? How do we, what kind of recourse does SBS provide?
Yeah, so I think that's where the citywide, there's the language line resource where if an agency's external affairs or public facing teams don't speak a language, there's still a tool, the language line tool, that you could use, and our staff are trained on using it so that if there's a communication barrier, they're able to call language line and get translation, interpretation.
And I'll just add, council member, that with SBS, we also partner with them at Moya to provide any additional support that they might need. If there's an issue that's flagged, particularly with the language of limited diffusion, as you mentioned right now, we step in to support as needed if language a line is not accessible.
Thank you so much. May I ask one more question, Chair?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So Staten Island is geographically isolated from the rest of New York City. The closest SBS Solution Center to Port Richmond is not on the island. If language access counseling requires a ferry ride and a subway trip, it may not be practically accessible. So is any of this counseling available in person locations in Staten Island? As SBS offices in other boroughs, and because we feel that there's a travel burden. So what is the
Yes.
travel burden for a North Shore business owner seeking in language counseling?
North Shore business owners can go to our Business Solution Center in North Shore, right by the ferry station, very close to your district office. And I know our teams have worked very closely. And whenever we've had workforce events at the center, we've cross promoted it. Your office has been incredibly generous in sharing it with your constituents. And similar to the workforce center, our business center is there too. It's in privately owned lease space. But we are committed to ensuring that presence in the North Shore of Staten Island, particularly right by the tip, because we know it's a incredibly public transit friendly space. And if Councilmember Morano is here, I wouldn't say that, but since he's not here, I'll say that it's the best location for the borough. And
Yes,
we'll
it is.
stick
I
to
mean,
that.
part of the questions that I ask is so my constituents can hear, and then that's just more about education and accessibility, spreading that kind of information. But we are really proud that Staten Island is becoming so beautifully more diverse than it's ever been. So thank you for all your help, and thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now turn it over to Councilmember Salam.
Thank you, chairs. Definitely appreciate the testimony that has been given as well. Just a few questions. As of March 2026, lawful permanent residents are barred from SBA guaranteed loans, given that immigrants are more than twice as likely as native-born residents to start businesses and comprise nearly half of New York City's small business community. What alternative finance mechanisms is SBA deploying to fill this gap? And what is the projected shortfall in capital access for affected business owners?
Thank you, Councilmember Salam. It's significant gap in financing that's been created as a result of the federal SBA's rule change that excludes all but U.S. citizens and U.S. nationals from accessing federally backed loans. And so we can get back to you on we've done some preliminary analysis, and it's in the tens of millions of dollars. It's in the billions of dollars nationally, and it's in the tens of millions of dollars for New York City. And it is concerning, but understanding that we're all in a tough budgetary environment, we are committed to helping small business owners of immigrant descent when they do reach out to us. And if they are permanent residents or others that are not currently eligible for the federal loans, we're trying to scan the universe of lending options available to them through our Funds Finder, which is a website, the first ever capital marketplace for small businesses in New York. It's called the NYC Funds Finder tool. And we also, through our business solution centers, we have 7 business solution centers, one in your district on 125th, through the physical center, through the Funds Finder tool, or through the hotline if somebody calls us. We'll connect them to our financing assistance team. They'll scan what's available. Although there's a gap, there are still some lending options that may make sense for that business, and then help them package their application so they can succeed in securing that lending product.
Thank you. And the Trump administration finalized an agreement allowing ICE to access IRS tax data of undocumented immigrants. If fear of deportation drives undocumented immigrants who paid $3.1 billion in New York State and local taxes in 2022 to stop filing, what is the projected fiscal impact on New York City's tax base, and what steps is the administration taking to reassure immigrant workers that tax compliance will not be weaponized against them?
I can start. What we know and understand is that the impact will be high. I don't have the exact number, but I'll have it before this hearing is over, I think. What has been done is work with DCWP and providing information to just individuals. And also, we have been leveraging our Moya Legal Support Hotline to also provide assessment if people reach out to inquire about whether they want to move forward or not. It's a very sort of personal decision as well for individuals, but I can try to get back to you on the number of what we project the impact to be.
And if I may, just one last,
Oh, go
one
ahead.
last question. Undocumented workers represent roughly 12% of New York City's hospitality labor force and are critical to healthcare, construction, and agriculture. With enforcement fear driving workers to stay home and reduce courthouse appearances, what sector-specific workforce stabilization strategies are SBS and relevant agencies pursuing to prevent cascading labor shortages in these industries?
Thank you, Councilmember Slum. So our workforce system is primarily federally funded, and what that means is you have to be work authorized in order to get the most deepest levels of workforce services. But any New Yorker can approach our centers for some limited level of services, such as just resume help and access to our computer lab. But it's the deepest levels of workforce interventions, the kind of strategies you're referencing. Our system is federally funded, so that creates challenges in that regard.
Thank you, Chairs.
Thank you. I'll now turn it over to Councilmember Brewer.
Thank you very much. A couple of questions. Does the city have for the small business, this was during the police issues, panic buttons, did that ever pass for small businesses, particularly the bodegas? And if so, how is it used?
So my understanding is, Councilmember Brewer, you're referencing a city council proposed legislation.
Yep.
My recollection is it did not pass the council, but last year, then former First Deputy Mayor Mastro worked with EDC to provide panic buttons to bodegas that are part of the United Bodegas of America.
Yep.
And my understanding is over 300 bodegas received the panic buttons through that program.
Okay. And would they be trained to use it if necessary for ICE issues, or that's a different topic?
So this is a program that EDC is administering. My understanding is it triggers law enforcement response to the premises. So if you're a business owner, you're a bodega worker, something tragic is happening, somebody is threatening your staff, you press the button and NYPD is then deploying themselves.
But I'm
to
just
the
saying
site.
it could also be used for ICE also.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
I would defer
just
to
meant-
EDC.
Seems like a tool that, if instructed correctly, it could be helpful. I don't know, but I
don't
wanted
know
to
too.
be on the mix.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two, websites. A lot of small businesses do not have a website in the city of New York. I know that from past experience. Are you working, this would be both an ICE question, a police question, a business question. Do you know how many don't? Is that something that you're working on? Would it help in communication? To me, when I go now to small businesses, not just because of ICE, all the issues they're dealing with, they want more communication. They don't all have bids. We don't need a bid on they don't have chambers. They need communication. And so I'm just wondering, how many have websites? How many have communicate? What are you doing about that topic? Because websites do help communication-wise.
I'll start with some of the affirmative outreach that we've done jointly with SBS. To the point, not everybody has a TV, but some folks do have radio and read the
Yes,
newspaper.
exactly.
So in the past, we have partnered with SBS to hold at least 2 roundtables with ethnic media reporters. One that happened, the latest was in September of 2025, and I know we're working on putting some others out, in which SBS and Moya joined. The core topic was immigrant small business owners and their rights, regardless of immigration statuses. We provided resources connected to KYR, again, and as well as information regarding services and initiatives that might be available to them. We also did that in 2024. The goal there was really, it has always been, when Moya leads the ethnic media roundtables, is to have ethnic media reporters in the room so they could share information out in the multiple languages.
Okay. Anything else for SBS in terms of websites or communication?
So we provide a 6-module series on digital marketing, includes email marketing and other guidance. And then I did want to highlight, and I think it's kind of tied to several questions, because we know that there are folks that don't have access to a website or are not comfortable navigating a website. There's a digital divide that exists in the city. We have our SPS hotline, and of that hotline, I wanted to share in FY25, we received 9,780 calls. And of those calls, the languages other than English that appeared to be the top languages were Spanish, Mandarin, Russian. And then in this year, FY26 to date, we're already at 8,093 calls. So definitely on track to surpass the number from the previous fiscal year. And again, like it's Arabic, Bangla, Russian,
What are
Spanish.
they calling about though? Generally, is it how to get their lease, or is it something else?
So this is the entry. So if you can't access our website, here's another entryway. Just call us and tell us, I am a business owner. I have a store. I want to open up another store. Before I sign the lease, do you guys have free legals? I heard you have free legal support. And we'll say, yes, we do. Thank you for calling us. We can provide up to 40 hours of pro bono legal assistance, going through the lease document, reviewing the lease document, negotiating with the landlord's attorney. And so it's the entryway to our services is the hotline. It's also our website. It's also when you speak to one of us on staff on the field in the community. And so we're just trying to make sure there's multiple modes of access, so we're not locking any New Yorker
And
out.
one of the services that can be offered is how to get a website, how to do a website. Does SBS offer that service to people?
So we have webinars on best practices of email marketing, website, social media, and whenever those webinars come, if you call us and you say, I want a website, we'll look to see what's the most relevant type of educational course we have available at the time and connect you to that.
Okay, because I think many of them don't have, so I don't know if that's working. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Hanks, you had a follow-up?
Thank you, Chair. This question surrounds employment documentation and compliance support. Has SBS given any thought to and how they're going to address the fact that the IRS has finalized an agreement with ICE to share tax information on undocumented immigrants? I think it was like April 2025.
Maybe I can start just to answer Councilmember Salam's question about the data. It's reported that approximately 14.4 billion in a total, so for Social Security and Medicare taxes of 6.5 billion could be lost nationwide, according to the American Immigration Council, because undocumented immigrants or immigrants as a whole might not be submitting their tax returns via the I-10. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. So if an immigrant worker stops filing their taxes out of fear, has SBS updated its guidance to business owners about I-9 compliance in light of increased ICE worksite enforcement? And where can a business owner get in-person assistance in filling out employment forms? And is this assistance available in multiple languages?
Thank you, Councilmember. So on tax-related submissions, the city government has DCWP offering free tax prep for New Yorkers, but also for small business owners under certain eligibility thresholds. It's our practice to refer them to experts in the tax field, and that's DCWP.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councilmember Brooks Powers had to leave, but she did have a couple of questions. As immigration enforcement increases fear in communities, are SBS and Moya seeing a shift of workers and small businesses into more informal or off-the-books economic activity?
So I can start and I'll pass it to my colleague at Moya. We've generally seen incredible anxiety and fear in any level of participation in the economy, and that includes front of the house, that includes ownership, that includes working, and that it also includes the informal economy. There are street vendors that are no longer vending due to fear, personal fear. And so there's a whole variety of concerns that they have. Our understanding and anecdotally what I've heard from our community leaders and business owners is not necessarily a segmentation by formal and informal, but more fear just persists in this trying time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think anecdotally it's the same to what was shared by SBS, and I'll just say that immigrants, as we know, persevere and we'll find a way to make ends meet. But in regards to the specific data, we don't have that as of now.
What risks do you see this poses for worker exploitation, wage theft, and long-term economic mobility, and how is the city responding?
Yeah, I can start. I mean, I think what we laid out at the very beginning is that with economic mobility and what we know is that gaining legal status is always key to ensure economic mobility. The stat that I shared previously, undocumented immigrants are less than 15,000 from a comparison to somebody who has some sort of status. So a big push that we have made at Moya has been providing legal services to folks so they can enter this space. Again, as the Chair Encarnacion mentioned, it is a difficult time given how aggressive the federal government has been and is, that even affirmative relief as simple as citizenship causes fear of folks just even entering and or going and or pursuing that pathway.
Can you speak to whether the economic impacts of federal immigration policy changes are disproportionately affecting specific neighborhoods or commercial corridors with high concentrations of immigrant-owned businesses?
Thank you, Chair. So on actual vacancy rates and macro data, we're not necessarily seeing any significant shifts of increased instability in storefronts, and it's generally stable, if not trending downwards. But we don't think just because the data is saying storefronts are relatively stable, that means there isn't significant change happening in the economy. Clearly, business owners, community leaders are all citing, and when we experience our city, we know our city. So when you walk down parts of Diversity Plaza, at some points in time, it does feel different, and that spreads across commercial corridors. So even though businesses might not be the
Right
level
on
of
cue,
business,
Diversity Plaza on Jackson Heights. and I showed
Jackson
up.
Heights, Kebab King always. Even though the business owners themselves might still, maybe the businesses themselves are still operational, I don't think that that in any way suggests that the impact is not real and that people are not actually perceiving a sense of impact to their bottom line.
Well, I would say reports have shown that Washington Heights, Sunset Park, and even my district in Corona have seen a huge uptick in ICE raids. So how has your office kind of seen in those particular areas the decrease in foot traffic in those corridors, businesses that maybe more businesses that are reaching out to you from those specific areas?
So we don't have any tools to track foot traffic itself. We know some business improvement districts have some proprietary software to do that. But what we do track citywide is storefront occupancy rates, and that rate has not significantly shifted. In fact, it's actually decreasing. The vacancies are decreasing, which means occupancies are relatively healthy. But again, just because the occupancy rates are healthy doesn't really mean we're in a great place economically for our immigrant communities.
Chair, and if you would allow me, because I think I missed part of your, didn't answer part of your question a couple of questions ago, but just to also say in regards to the point that you made connected to impacts that might be having to the workforce in connection to harassment and things like that, we did partner with CCHR and created a flyer in April 2026, Immigrants in New York City, Human Rights, Work, and at Home, given some of the issues that you laid out regarding just abusive behaviors and things to that extent. So we've been sharing that widely. And then to add affirmatively some outreach in your district in Corona, Queens, between January and February, where we were hearing some heights of concerns that were coming out. Moya's outreach team led 8 events in collaboration with local community-based organizations. So at Moya, it's not only that we're deployed just because we're deciding where to go, it's also through partnerships with local council members as well as local community-based organizations. So just wanted to share that with you as well.
Thank you. And then a final question from Councilmember Brooks Powers. How is the city targeting resources to prevent long-term disinvestment in these areas? And what are projected long-term economic impacts of federal immigration policy changes on Southeast Queens specifically?
So we haven't seen any data to suggest there's persistent and prolonged levels of economic impact that are statistically showing up in any of our analyses. But happy to, after this hearing, we'll take a look into Southeast Queens, the occupancy rates there, the council district, the community board, and see if there is anything of that regard. We'll share it with Councilmember Brooks Powers.
How are you guys going about tracking this type of data? Because you're saying we haven't seen any data yet. Like what are your tools in your toolbox to actually track this specifically and how it's affecting our businesses?
We have, so on city storefront occupancy, we have a citywide resource to be able to see on a quarterly basis. There's a street canvassing that happens to track, is this business open this quarter or is it closed this quarter? And at the end of the quarter, we have an updated number for all of New York City that informs us of occupancy rates.
So we're tracing it solely based on occupancy, not actual sales, right? So if these businesses are suffering, quote unquote, in silence, we are unaware that they're in dire need just because their doors are technically still open.
Yes, that's exactly the point I was making, where just because the data shows occupancy rates are trending downwards, we shouldn't assume that that means there's great economic health, that there are corridors in the city that we're hearing from the business owners that they're perceiving a significant decrease in foot traffic. And so we shouldn't read into the citywide data on occupancy to suggest everything is great, let's keep moving. Clearly, something has shifted in the city, and we've got to be more targeted and be mindful to those changes. Yes.
Well, what are we looking at? How are we going to be more targeted and actually capture the data?
So on the data, I would argue, Chair, that small businesses would not want to share their sales data with government and with us. They would very much be uncomfortable with that level of data sharing. But the fact that they share these experiences with us when they feel pain in their communities and they want us to be out there and help guide them and share the Know Your Rights materials that Moya has helped develop and ensure that they're able to protect their workers. I think at some point it comes down to not just the bottom line of the business, but the people that the business employs and how much they love the people that they serve in the community and also the people they take care of as their workforce. And so it's that level of support that we are on the ground connecting New Yorkers to the Know Your Rights materials. And again, whenever opportunities will arise where it's free marketing for them, it's free something else for them, we will be out there to share that. And that's what we're doing with the FIFA World Cup.
Okay. I'd like to acknowledge that we've been joined by Councilmember Krishnan, who has some questions. You don't have any questions? Okay. Oh. My apologies. I stand corrected. I have a couple more. And we have been joined by Councilmember Aviles. As we talk about street vendors, one visible example of ICE's activity in New York City was seen on Canal Street, where a raid took place and multiple vendors were taken into custody. Did SBS or Moya perform any outreach to the vendors who were taken or to any other vendors in that area?
Yeah, we did work and connect with the Street Vendor Project at the time, and there was some canvassing that was done post raid. We also connected with some of the local organizers who gained the trust of individuals. So there was that and partly outreach that was done by our office.
And we were in close touch with Amadou Lee, community leader, who was in touch with the vendors that were impacted. And we've always coordinated with Amadou, and we continue to coordinate with Amadou.
Okay. With SBS' new Office of Street Vendor Services, how will outreach be conducted, and what information will be shared with vendors moving forward?
So we're really excited about. Well, first, thank you to the City Council on overriding the veto that took place in December to ensure that we were in a position to launch this Office of Street Vendor Services. It was a priority for our agency to ensure we deepen work here with this field. And the legislation required a start date in August. We have decided to start this office much earlier, months before its legislative requirement, and we were proud to share, and right before our preliminary hearing, that Karina Kaufman-Gutierrez, as Street Vendor Project's co-director, is the city's first executive director for this Office of Street Vendor Services. She started on Monday. We've been meeting daily, me and her, and we're excited to build that team out and the work that we'll be able to do in this field. And certainly we'll leverage our existing resources, but it is an area that we want to make sure that vendors are able to get targeted and curated services, not just the general scope of business services that we provide at SBS. And that includes Know Your Rights. So one of our SVP has a contract through SBS for Chamber on the Go, and they have their own version of a Know Your Rights material and collateral that's more tailored to street vendor. It's more culturally responsive to them with more specific guidance on how to engage. And so that's the level of partnership we'll continue to learn from and deepen with the Korean on board.
How does the Office of Street Vending work with Moya?
Well, I think it's day 3.
It's day 3.
But we have worked with Karina in the past and just street vendor project in the past. So we're looking forward to the collaboration. I think we have a meeting in the book soon, but we are looking forward to supporting her new role.
I'll turn it over to Councilmember Encarnacion.
I want to shift gears a little bit to talk about the back in 2019, SBS at a council hearing launched an initiative called the Immigrant Business Initiative.
Yes.
And so I wanted to know, in your words, like what was the purpose of the initiative? And I know that it was a 3-year pilot program. Wanted to understand it's since ended. So wanted to understand if you were looking to revive it.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair Encarnacion. So the Immigrant Business Initiative is a de Blasio era 2015 to 2017, a 3-year pilot that was privately funded. It was funded through the City Community Development Fund, and it was designed to help. What it really accomplished was a guide that packaged and consolidated some existing resources into more user-friendly framing for immigrant entrepreneurs, and it was accompanied by grants to 6 community-based organizations to further share that guide and those resources, the existing resources, with local immigrant communities. This is at a time when we did not have a citywide agency outreach team. This is at a time when we did not even have our hotline that we've reported out has connected over 9,000 New Yorkers to phone calls, including multilingual phone calls over the past fiscal year. So in 2015, this was a point-in-time effort to reach immigrant New Yorkers. In 2026, and certainly under this new era, the focus on immigrant New Yorkers and immigrant entrepreneurs is baked into almost all of our work. It's not a siloed program that we're launching. It's something that we do on a daily basis for all of our programs, and we ensure that that focus remains.
But that guide, do you see a future where SBS updates it? Is there a commitment to update it, a commitment to keep the guide? And I understand that it's now present in all the work that you do, but handing someone a guide, I mean, obviously there's a reason to understand how you launch, develop, grow a small business from that from an immigrant standpoint. So wondering if there was any ideas of how to update it and share it.
So from time to time, we've reviewed it to understand whether it makes sense to update it. And I think it comes back to the fact that it's really dense. We provide at least over 40 business services. So putting it in a guide too is not really the most accessible. It's really creating another layer that people have to go through versus ensuring that when a New Yorker raises concerns with their business, we have the suite of services available to respond and not just waiting for them to raise that concern, to be out there proactively in the community with local community leaders, with business leaders. And so the current intention is to ensure we bake a focus on immigrant New Yorkers throughout our work, and we don't create guides and one-off websites that live on pages and then direct people to the page instead of the actual service and creating multiple layers before a person can access services.
I understand. I just think that, the tendency is always to say you can find it on our website. But it doesn't necessarily work that way, right, for everyone. And so a guide, a paper guide, sometimes while we run the risk of things maybe not being updated as quickly, we are getting information that at least is some sort of pointing them to a direction, as opposed to saying a website where they may not go to, and it may not even be in their language.
But we don't just do the website. That's what I think what we're trying to get at is the website is a very small part of our outreach strategy. It's the hotline, it's our in-person staff, it's the speaking in the language that the community members are speaking. It's all of that. And if
How are you getting that to those people?
Through outreach. If we did have resources too, again, like this was a 3-year privately funded resource. If we had funding to fund CBOs to do outreach, we would love to do that as well. But at the current moment in time, we're now in a place where we have a whole citywide team that does this outreach. At that point in time, there was no citywide outreach team at SBS.
The 6-person citywide team?
Yes.
Okay,
We
I
had
just want to
zero
get back to
back
that
then.
because you,
We
when
had
we say
zero back
citywide
then.
outreach team, we want to think of it as this big force. I mean, it is still 6 people, and so I just know that it is. And what my goal here, right, is to find out how we as a council support the growth of these organizations, these offices, these departments, understanding where that funding is needed and how it impacts our small businesses. Because what we're seeing on the ground is all of these question marks about how do they get, and they come to us, right? Because we're the local elected officials and we're in their communities. And so, of course, it is our job to help them, but also to help you, right? And to make sure that you're getting everything that you need in order to make this successful. So that's where we're at. So I wanted to know to the metrics, because I think that's I'm surprised to hear that the vacancies are actually going down in my community. That is not the case in many communities. Vacant storefronts. You're saying they
So
were.
I'm sorry if I misspoke and I suggested in your community it's decreasing.
No.
We'll follow up with your district.
Okay.
Generally, citywide, it's stable and decreasing.
Okay, well, they're decreasing. I could tell you. You don't have to follow up with me. I could tell you it is decreasing in my community, and to the point of the metrics is it's really I would love to work with your office to see how we can find like an innovative way to track how businesses are doing and what exactly is impacting them, because it's difficult for us, as you said in the beginning, to pinpoint that immigration is the problem, right? Or if it's inspections, if it's violations, if it's new legislation that we passed in 2009. We don't know what it is that's impacting our businesses. So we really should work maybe all collaboratively to find ways to really make a system for metrics that can really point to what the issues are in specifically with our small businesses. But I'll leave it there. I think that Councilmember Aviles might, yeah, you may have some questions.
Thank you, chairs. Good to see the administration. I apologize, I missed earlier, so I may be asking you duplicate questions. As you all know, street vendors are really important, and I know you noted that Karina just started this Monday, but I was curious to know what the current budget for the Office of Street Vendors is specifically, and what does a fully staffed office actually look like?
Thank you, Councilmember Aviles. And we're happy to answer any questions, even if they're repeat questions for you. We'll do all of the questions that you propose and present to us. On the budget for the office, we currently don't have a budget for the office itself, but we do have, we did hire Karina, expecting that through this budget process, since the legislative requirement goes into effect in August of the next fiscal year, we anticipated that this would be part of the budget process. We're engaging in continued conversations with senior leadership in City Hall and OMB, and to get us started, 4 months before the legislative requirement, we hired Karina as our executive director.
Do you anticipate, obviously a year is away, there's a lot happening, and I know there's a lot of planning. Do you anticipate providing additional lines from other agencies to support that work in the meantime?
So the benefit of having the Office of Street Vendor Services at SBS is the team is now being able to leverage all of the resources, teams, and capacity that the agency already has. So we have the hotline that exists, the 888-SBS for NYC, that any New Yorker can call to get connected with our services. We have the web page. We also have our 6-person outreach team, and we have our 7 business solution centers that are located in all 5 boroughs. They're the in-person locations where you can get access to our services. So we've got all this capacity and infrastructure built up. The benefit of having the Office of Street Vendor Services, which Council and Public Advocate Williams so thoughtfully embedded into the proposed legislation, is that it benefits from this entire ecosystem. But we are in the middle of the budget process, and I know that all agencies are discussing the upcoming needs that they may have with the new licenses that are going to be issued, and also for us ensuring that unlicensed vendors currently are able to take advantage of the opportunity that the new licenses present to enter the formal economy.
Do you have a sense of what the core functions of this office will be?
Yes, you could think of it in three buckets. One would be access to resources and services. The other bucket would be development of curated street vendor focused programming, and then the third bucket would be ensuring that our vendors are able to benefit from the historic new licenses that SVP so dedicatedly lobbied for and advocated for last year and early this year, and how council enacted into law by overriding the mayoral veto.
Thank you. I was so distracted by the buzzer. I felt like it was a game show host or something.
Continue.
Ejected out of the room suddenly. Thank you. Thank you for that. In terms of your earlier questioning really focused on all the ways of directing outreach. And obviously, I think what we see across agencies is a real need beyond the QR codes and the actual paper is human-to-human contact to just clarify all the processes. Obviously, it's a small, SBS has a small team and quite a large mandate with thousands of small businesses who need real support every day, particularly in a hostile context where the federal government is going after people, quite frankly. Is there going to be any additional allocation for that outreach effort related to the street vendor office?
So those are exactly the kinds of conversations we're having with City Hall and OMB on figuring out the right scope as the new licenses come out and as we build this office. And again, the legislative requirement was later in August. We proactively decided to hire our executive director months in advance to start the work much earlier to help build the scoping of what this team can do and should be focused on in the next year.
Great. And is there going to be any overlap with, I guess, Moya? Will you be able to double team on outreach efforts related to street vendors and also just at the intersection of what people need and their concerns?
Yeah, so we have in the past, and just this calendar year alone, partnered with SBS on just 4 outreach events. But I think, as I mentioned, I think Karina's day 3, but we are looking forward to working with her, and also just to ensure that there is, given the citywide lack of capacity, just ensuring that there's not like overlap and that we're able to coordinate. So yeah, that's part of what our hope will be when we speak with her soon.
Great. And just last thing, because I have you both here, and certainly on the business aspect, I think we continue to pursue and really want to stop the whole Rollergate situation, which is going to really negatively impact our businesses across the city. And so just got to underscore that legislation, while potentially well-meaning many years ago, needs to maybe stay in the past. So for the record, thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions for Moya. And for this one, I'm going to give a real-world example. I represent the 21st Council District. LaGuardia Airport is in my district. And recently, around the time when Trump was in trying to eliminate the TPS status for Haiti, we have quite a few airport workers. I'm not sure if you're aware, they have to be badged. There's a badging process. So when countries are in limbo like that, you can get a badge for 6 months or 12 months. And each time you have to take time out of your day to go get rebadged. So when individuals are in limbo like that, this particular instance, individuals were badged for 1 month. So they had a month where they knew they could work. And after that, no idea what was to happen, right? And so when you talk about the fear and anxiety, and this has been going on since Trump took office in 25, and consistently attempts to rescind lawful immigration status of hundreds and thousands of immigrants. How has Moya sought to disseminate actionable information on these policy shifts to immigrant workers and small business owners? And does any of that information include any type of mental health assistance?
So multiple parts to your question, but and a good question. I'll just start with the work that we are doing currently with under the Haitian. So under Moya, we have a program called the Haitian Response Initiative, which is made up of 7 organizations that are embedded in Little Haiti. Part of the effort that we have done there is provide service in the community and not waiting for people to come to us. So we have been having in-person clinics throughout the period to provide different types of services, right? Again, if I had a magic wand to be able to provide legal status to everybody, you better believe that I would waive it and ensure that that happened. Unfortunately, that is not the case. So what we have done and do is that we've been providing people with a review of some pending applications, providing them with the most up-to-date information that they can have, and we've also been supporting and doing direct outreach in the community in Little Haiti. We've also, I know Councilmember Rita Joseph tends to come to the immigration hearings. We have partnered with her in the past to provide, again, information and direct legal services to individuals in her district. So that's part of what we try to do. We have been monitoring TPS laws, not just for Haitians, but other countries as well. And what we've been trying to do is, again, just affirmative outreach to the community. And then especially with the Haitian Response Initiative, because there's an initiative specifically for Haitian New Yorkers, direct legal services within their community. We do have a clinic coming up on May 28th that we're partnering with the Brooklyn Borough President to, again, sort of provide an additional touch point. And we're also monitoring the decision on TPS via the Supreme Court as well.
And then the mental health piece, because I mean, multiple times both of you have said that anecdotally, like the fear and anxiety that individuals are facing is at an all-time high, as can be imagined. Anything to refer individuals to?
Yes. So part of what we've done too, there is several interagency efforts that Moya is a part of. We have worked closely with DOHMH, especially, if I'm not mistaken, there's forward-facing material as well in regards to just access and to encourage folks to continue to not only access mental health services, but also just health service, period, to ensure that folks have that. So, and we've also embedded that within this coalition or initiative that we have under the HRI program, where we've brought in people to just talk about the services with some of the 7, with all of the 7 providers, so they could share that information widely as well.
And then, as Moya's most recent annual report notes, nationwide, we know that immigrants, including undocumented populations, are tremendous contributors to the economy. What federal level advocacy has Moya engaged in, whether through Cities for Action or elsewhere, to champion policies that would mutually benefit immigrant population and the city's economy as a whole?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find my page. But yes, there is work that we have done. I'll name one, the most recent one, on February 23 of 2026. Moya, as you might know, that DHS proposed a rule which would extend the wait time for work permits to 365 days and halt applications if affirmative asylum proceeding times exceeded 180 days. So because of that, we worked with City Hall to put together a comment to just talk about how detrimental that would be for the city of New York. That's one example within the space of just the workforce space. But there have been others that I just don't have in front of me, but there have been a couple of multiple touch points that we've done. And then with Cities for Action, which is a program that Moya oversees, we've also collaborated with them in the past to submit comments connected to detrimental impacts that would come because of federal policy.
Mr. Khan, I'm come back to Small Business Week. How does SBS engage with immigrant-owned small businesses during Small Business Week?
So Small Business Week is like is a federal Small Business Administration designated week where the federal government engages in outreach across the country through their regional offices. at SBS, we've expanded from the week to the month, and we celebrate May as an entire small business month. And as that being the focus, we've committed. We are helping organize 4 borough-based large-scale public engagement events. We're organizing that big expo at the end of the month, and across the month, there's a series of workshops, webinars related to financing opportunities, meeting the lenders that provide loans to small businesses. It's a full month of programming that we do at SBS, not just that week that the federal government does. And to learn more about all of the ways in which people can engage and all the events that are taking place, it's nyc.gov/Small Biz Month.
Do you offhand, when is this going to take place, the 4 large public events?
It's
And
6.
where?
It's actually my apologies. It's 6 borough-based engagements. They should be up on the website as soon as they're finalized. So, in many of the borough-based events, we're partnering with the local chambers as well. So either they're all there, and if 1 or 2 of them are still being finalized, they will be there the minute the partners all finalize those events.
I'll turn it over to Councilmember Encarnacion.
I just have quick questions around inspections and the assistance that our small businesses get with inspections. Can you talk about, can you walk us through how and when they use, I don't know, I guess language line, you were saying, for when an inspector comes into a small business?
So, Councilmember, we are not, or Chair Encarnacion, we're not the enforcement agency. So each enforcement agency has their own enforcement practices. Many of them also do have multilingual staff. Some
Have they asked you guys for support with inspections? Like if they know they're getting a big inspection and need support setting up for it,
we would
understanding?
we would
you
actually not want to
would
be
not.
anywhere near an inspection that takes place with a small business owner, because it jeopardizes our relationship with the businesses, where it takes time for them to develop trust with us, in knowing that we in city government as SBS are out there for them. We're an educational resource. We're non-compliance. We're here with services. We are not folks in uniform. We are not folks they
So
should
if
be.
they needed support, then they would like Moya be a support for them? Asking Moya.
I was actually asking our language access team, but in general, yes, if agencies, so just to take a bit of a step back, just so you have this as well, Moya has affirmatively reached out to agencies under local law 30. Just this calendar year, we've met with 40. As issues come up, we address them. So if that issue would come to us, we would do it. I was just trying to get clarification if it has. I just don't have that yet, but we affirmatively reached out to provide support.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a smart way to look at it, because I'm thinking about like if the language translation services was inaccurate for any reasons. I mean, these things are extremely technical in some cases, and so I just wanted to understand if they would be absolved of whatever violation due to wrongly translated information. So, but that's more or less what I was thinking of. But I know that we were joined by our borough president. Is he here? What? Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I just add one clarification? Chair Encarnacion, you mentioned vacancy rate. So in the district, for Council District 8, we do know that the current vacancy rate hovers around 12.72. In the last quarter, it was at 13.16. So again, it's showing some slight downward trend. But again, just because it's showing that there's less vacancies, it doesn't mean like who are replacing the vacant, the stores that are getting closed. There are all these other levels of questions that one could engage in.
Yeah, it's the Sonics and the McDonald's and Burger Kings that are replacing our small businesses.
Thank you so much. You're excused.
Okay. Yeah, so now we have our my borough president. Yes. Brad Horman Siegel.
Good morning, and thank you for joining.
Thank
You can begin when you're ready.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, chairs and members of the committee. Thank you so much for convening this hearing. I'm Brad Hoylman, Siegel, Manhattan Borough President, and I have the honor of representing 1.6 million New Yorkers, including 500,000 immigrants as Manhattan Borough President. Manhattan has a long and storied history as a borough of immigrants. I don't need to tell you that. Its economy in particular was built by immigrants, as we all know, and runs on their entrepreneurship, their labor, and their tax contributions. Across New York City, immigrants own nearly half of our small businesses. They make up the overwhelming majority of workers in care, home care, food service, hospitality, transportation, and major parts of our construction workforce. And yet, as you well know, the federal government is dismantling the freedoms and infrastructure that lets immigrant New Yorkers live here, work here, raise families here, and contribute here. The cost will be borne by every New Yorker. We've all seen the harms of ICE operations on our streets and in our respective boroughs. Less visible, but no less consequential, is the restructuring of federal agencies far outside of DHS and housing, food assistance, employment, authorization, tax administration, public records, into instruments of immigration enforcement. Each of those shifts transfers costs to New York City. Nowhere is that more clear than in housing. In April, our office submitted formal comments opposing HUD's proposed rule that would effectively force mixed status families out of federally assisted housing. If implemented, this rule could displace roughly 11,000 New Yorkers, including approximately 5,000 children. In Manhattan alone, hundreds of families and more than 1,000 children could be impacted. Families who have spent years complying with federal rules would face an impossible set of choices: family separation, displacement, or homelessness. Manhattan's average asking rent has now reached approximately $5,348 a month. The Section 8 waitlist is closed. Public housing waitlists have been functionally closed for years. For these families, there is nowhere else to go. HUD claims this rule would free up resources for other households. Its own analysis shows just the opposite. Mixed status households often generate higher effective rents because ineligible family members pay market adjacent rates. Removing those households is projected to cost New York housing authorities between $48 million and $57 million in annual revenue at the exact moment Nycc faces an astounding $80 billion capital deficit and a $791 million operating gap. The downstream costs are even greater. Families forced from federally assisted housing will enter shelter systems, hospitals, will absorb housing-related health crises, and Nycc staff will be pulled away from mold remediation, lead abatement, elevator repair, and heat restoration to carry out immigration verification and reporting requirements. Shelter costs alone could impose additional costs between $330 million and $1.27 billion on New York City, with no federal reimbursement. The same pattern is emerging in food security. More than 1.8 million New Yorkers rely on SNAP, including roughly 500,000 children. As of April 1, in response to changes in federal law, New York State has begun removing SNAP eligibility from entire categories of legally present non-citizens, including refugees, people granted asylum, survivors of human trafficking, and survivors of domestic violence. These are people the federal government itself granted humanitarian protection. They are now being stripped of food assistance. Beyond those direct cuts, mixed status households who remain eligible are disenrolling out of fear that participation will expose family members to enforcement. Food pantries are reporting surging demand. Community providers are being forced to backfill what was once a federal entitlement. Bodegas, grocery stores, and small food businesses lose consumer spending when federal nutrition dollars disappear from local circulation. The chilling effects extend beyond housing and food. Workers are hesitating to report wage theft. Families are delaying medical care. Parents are avoiding benefits enrollment for U.S. citizen children. Eligible residents are declining to file taxes or interact with public systems because they no longer trust that the information they provide will remain within the agencies that collect it. Local government cannot fully offset the assault from the federal government, but we can and we must do everything in our power to mitigate the damage and protect immigrant New Yorkers upon whom our economic infrastructure so directly depends. I urge you to consider the following steps. Conduct a full audit of the direct and downstream impacts of these policies to New York City. Coordinate multilingual outreach, making clear that benefit participation by eligible household members does not, under city policy, expose family members to immigration enforcement. Third, expand city investment in immigrant legal services. And fourth, build protections against data transfer between city agencies and federal immigration enforcement. I'm pleased to share that my office is opening an immigrant welcome center at our northern Manhattan office at 125th in Amsterdam. This center will provide, we hope, a single trusted intake point for any Manhattanite, providing walk-in legal referrals, multilingual benefit navigation, know your rights materials, tenant protections, and more. And thanks to the Queens Borough President for his concept that we are adopting here in Manhattan. Our city's economy was built by immigrants. It's currently being dismantled by federal policy. We have a moral and fiscal obligation to build a local firewall that protects workers, entrepreneurs, and families who keep New York running. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
No, we thank you for being here.
No, just saying thank you.
Thank you for your advocacy over the years, especially for your support and innovation for supporting our small businesses. I would love to get a copy of those recommendations that you called out. Also, any recommendations from being, I would say, from your office's vantage point, what we heard from SBS and Moya is that we can't truly quantify the impacts because we're not actually getting the data that we need to quantify. So any ideas from you or have you that your office may have heard about how these businesses are really being impacted from Trump's administration's immigration policies?
That's a terrific suggestion. Yeah, there's that old expression, you can't manage what you don't measure. And I completely agree that data collection is part of the case we make, you make as legislators, and me as an advocate working alongside you in that regard. Thank you very much.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you for coming. Have a good one. I now open the hearing for public testimony. I remind members of the public that this is a government proceeding and that decorum shall be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent at all times. The witness table is reserved for people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the Sergeant at Arms for inclusion in the hearing record. If you wish to speak at today's hearing, please fill out an appearance card with the Sergeant at Arms and wait to be recognized. When recognized, you will have 2 minutes to speak on today's oversight hearing topic, economic impacts of federal immigration policy changes. If you have a written statement or additional written testimony you wish to submit for the record, please provide a copy of that testimony to the Sergeant at Arms. You may also email written testimony to testimony@council.nyc.gov within 72 hours of the close of this hearing. Audio and video recordings will not be accepted. For in-person panelists, please come up to the table once your name has been called. Now I will call our first in-person panel. Mark Caserta, Van Zylo, Arlette Zapata, and Ben Gutman. We can begin with Mark.
Hello? Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Mark Caserta. I'm Vice President of Small Business Support at the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for the opportunity. In the interest of time, I want to skip the anything about the struggles of small businesses. I think we all know that. But I do want to tell you about, since October 2020, the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, in partnership with 4 other borough chambers, has conducted extensive door-to-door outreach in small businesses throughout through the New York City Small Business Resource Network. SBRN staff have visited more than 58,000 small businesses citywide and provided individualized, no-cost assistance to over 18,000 businesses. We have a direct, on-the-ground perspective of the challenges facing small businesses across the city. I'm going to skip ahead to earlier this year, our SBRN team conducted a door-to-door survey of Brooklyn small businesses. Among respondents, 65% reported being affected by tariffs, and 56% indicated they had raised prices as a direct result of these increased costs. And in addition to the tariff question, we asked business owners whether immigration enforcement or the fear of such enforcement had impacted their operations. Across Brooklyn, approximately 30% of respondents reported experiencing negative effects related to immigration enforcement or fear thereof. However, this figure varies significantly by neighborhood. In Sunset Park, 79% of the survey businesses reported being affected, and in Bay Ridge, the figure was 45%, which reflects a mix of businesses, both Arab and non-Arab owned. I just want to also note, nearly all the Arab-owned businesses that we spoke with reported significant tariff increases and expressed that they could not pass these costs on to customers who themselves are facing financial strain. Beyond our survey data, our team has gathered anecdotal evidence during outreach. Business owners have reported difficulty retaining immigrant employees, as we said. I just want to add
You may continue.
Oh, thank you. Additionally, many businesses have experienced declines in foot traffic and sales. We've said that. In several instances earlier in the current administration, our staff visited immigrant-owned businesses and upon asking for the owner, observed employees retreating and hiding out of fear that we were immigrant enforcement officials. So it feels real. None of this is happening in a vacuum. Business owners are already navigating exceptionally challenging times. We've talked about those. I just want to add something that Councilmember Aviles had said. We are calling for the repeal of Local Law 75. There are thousands and thousands of small businesses who have illegal roll gates. This is a ticking time bomb, and we really need to repeal the law as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Next.
Good afternoon, council members. Thank you for the time to testify today. My name is Van. I'm the community organizer at Nycc, a community-based organization in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, that has served immigrant, Latin, indigenous communities for over 25 years. As an organization that provides direct services to the immigrant community, we have seen the effects that these federal policy changes have created. Last year, Nycc was able to serve over 1,000 community members in legal services, and over a third of those services were on completing work authorization applications. With the recent federal changes that this current administration has created, we see how it has greatly impacted the working class immigrant community. Having to now pay a $102 fee to maintain an asylum application pending while the federal government is slowing down the revision of applications is unjust. On top of these policy changes around asylum, the large presence of ICE in immigrant communities has created an immense amount of fear where our community members feel immobilized to the point that they don't feel safe enough to go to work. We have seen in areas like Sunset Park that used to be busy with pedestrians going shopping to local and nearby businesses start to become a bit more empty. After talking to some local street vendors and food trucks, they've mentioned how business has also drastically decreased because of all this recent fear. There needs to be continuous protection and support from immigrant communities to access their work safely, getting unemployment support, which is something that they are often not applicable for, despite being a huge backbone for our local economy, and more access to legal services where they do not have to pay absurd amount of fees to merely survive in the city. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you for your testimony. Next.
Good morning. My name is Ben Gutman. I am the Executive Director of the Queens Economic Development Corporation. We're in the business of making Queens thrive, and every year we work with to support more than 3,000 entrepreneurs and small businesses in various capacities across the borough. Despite being the birthplace of the leader of our federal government, Queens finds itself squarely in the crosshairs of this administration's harsh and ill-conceived immigration policy. Queens is the most diverse urban community on the globe. 48% of the population is foreign-born. 55% speak a language other than English at home. By most estimates, the number of those languages spoken reaches well into the triple digits. This diversity is the reason we have the most vibrant neighborhoods in the world, and of course, why we have the most delicious culinary scene anywhere to be found. But federal immigration policy is quieting those neighborhoods and devastating the restaurants and other street-level businesses that call Queens home. Since ICE activity began to accelerate this past fall, nearly every business owner I've spoken to in our most heavily immigrant communities has reported an anecdotal decrease in foot traffic and accompanying revenue. Last November, we sent our team into the field in Jackson Heights and Corona to survey local businesses on this effect. The results were striking. 79% of businesses have reported a decrease in sales and foot traffic. 39% described it as a major decrease. 22% reported that employees have missed work or expressed fear of coming in because of ICE activity. 18% of businesses have changed hours, canceled events, or altered operations, and a further 11% are considering doing so. And of those reported a loss of revenue, 84% have lost more than $1,000. 7% have reported a loss greater than $10,000. $1,000 may not seem like that much to a business at first, but many of these businesses were street vendors. $1,000 in lost revenue can be their share of that month's rent. It is the supplies needed to staff up for the next big catering opportunity or the flight home to visit family. While New York has been spared the disturbing, heavy-handed enforcement that so deeply scarred a city like Minneapolis, the fear alone
You can continue.
Is often enough to take its toll. An ICE agent is spotted in the community, or sometimes not even, then rumors begin to swirl. From Instagram to churches, WhatsApp groups to apartment hallways, the fear grounds the neighborhood to a halt. Nobody is shopping, people are staying home from work, street vendors and storefronts close, hundreds of thousands of dollars in immediate economic damage, and countless more in lost opportunities and lost sleep. QEDC operates Corona Plaza Market, a leading model for safe, community-focused street vending. I saw a few of the vendors here earlier. Due to the fear of ICE activity, we shut down the market 3 times this past winter. It was painful, and it wasn't always popular with every vendor, but we refused to facilitate creating a target for ICE agents who may want to harass this community. When combined with the literal ice from our frigid winter, this was a very challenging season for our vendors, and not every business made it through these down months. And this is just one market in one neighborhood in one borough. To our knowledge, thankfully, no one has been raided in Corona Plaza yet, but the fear is enough. And unfortunately, with this administration, fear seems to be the point. Thank you to the chair and her staff for the leadership on this issue in their own backyard, and thank you everybody for your time.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, chairs and members of the committee. My name is Arlette Cepeda, and I am the interim executive director of La Colmena in Staten Island. I gotta say it like that. All right, so La Colmena is a nonprofit community-based organization that works with day laborers, domestic workers, and other low-wage immigrant workers. And our mission is to empower them through organizing, education, culture, and equitable economic development. Across our community, we are seeing a growing level of fear. Many immigrant families are afraid to leave their homes, whether it's to go to work, to shop at local businesses, or participate in daily life. They are instead sending their children to get essential supplies, putting them at risk. This fear is not abstract. It has a real economic consequences. Small businesses in our neighborhoods are experiencing a decline in customers, and when community members stay home, local restaurants, shops, and services providers lose vital income. These are businesses that often operate in thin margins, and even a small drop in revenue can be devastating. At the same time, small businesses are losing workers. Immigrant workers are essential to functioning of many industries such as hospitality and construction. When workers feel unsafe or are forced to stay home, businesses struggle to operate, reduce hours, or even close. It has, sorry, my vision is. It is also important to recognize that immigrants are not only workers, they are business owners. Many of them are entrepreneurs and are facing the same fears and instabilities, forcing them to scale back or close their doors. This leads to the loss of income, and not only for them, but their employees and families. As a result, we are seeing increased economic instability across our communities. Families are struggling to pay rent, afford food, and meet basic needs. And we urge the Council to recognize the harmful impacts of the federal immigration policy changes and continue to invest in protections and resources that support our awesome immigrant community and small businesses. Thank you for the opportunity to testify on behalf of Staten Island.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming in from Staten Island.
I just have one thing to say. I mean, I think every borough is the most diverse and cultural. It has the best food. We all say it. So I'm gonna say it for the Bronx and for Manhattan. So
Queens
that's all.
is the world's borough, though. I'm
Oh,
just saying.
we'll see. We'll see.
But I do have one quick question for the entire panel. Hey, thank you for the work that you do, and you guys are really at the front lines. Do you coordinate with Moya or SBS in any way to kind of help give them your on the ground actual survey work and see what you're hearing, and how has that coordination or collaboration been?
We work under contract. The Small Business Resource Network is under a contract with SBS. So we do on the ground small business work. We share that. I think we have, and they see our metrics all the time. I don't know whether we've shared the results of that survey or not, but
I would recommend sharing it with
yeah.
With Mixteca, we work closely with Moya, giving Know Your Rights workshops. Also, as like Mixteca, we have done a couple of small business Know Your Rights workshops around like what businesses can do, and if like an ICE raid was to occur, explaining, giving more information around like public-private spaces and just additional resources. We also try to do as often as we can like policy updates, because there's so many ever going, and like there's different ways that it can impact them. So that's sort of how we've been going about it.
Yeah, and SBS has been a wonderful partner of ours in both Jackson Heights and Corona. I would love to do more work with Moya as well, too.
La Colmena House is the grantee of the Neighborhood 360 grant by SBS, and we have an amazing corridor invigoration program, which included the launch of this fellowship that talks about a marketing campaign for the corridor. So very close with small business services, and we the team at Best has done numerous tours of the corridor, so they are really connected to small businesses, and we're breaking that barrier. And with Moya, we're one of their IRW providers.
How do you think we on the city level across the city can help our small, specifically immigrant businesses survive these tumultuous times? What can we be doing?
It's. I mean, the problem is in Washington for the most part. That's the biggest piece. I will say I've been very. I don't know. Pleased is not the right word, but very, very heartwarmed, I guess, to see the response from the local electeds, and both on the city council level and the borough president's team have been, as we've been dealing with some of these closures in Corona Plaza, have been incredible partners. Yeah.
I just wanted to add I was here for the sanctuary laws. That's another way that we can protect our businesses, by enforcing the sanctuary laws and making them feel safe, and that there's due process and not colluding with federal agents, making sure that there's accountability measures and that the rights and due process are respected.
Okay.
I'll just add what you're expecting to hear from the Chamber of Commerce, and that's reduced costs and regulations for small businesses, especially those immigrant-owned businesses. And again, roll gates.
We're on the roller gates. We're working it out. We're trying to roll it out, and before it gets implemented. But we're on it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you all.
The next panel, Rosario Troncosa, Isabel Rosario, Martha Herrera, and Sally Weathers. You can begin. Who is? Oh, you're waiting for. Okay. No problema. Listo? Okay. I'm practicing. She knows me. I'm trying. Thank you. You may begin.
Hola, buenas tardes, Consul Member. Mi nombre es Rosario Troncoso, soy miembro de la Junta Directiva de Street Vendor Project. He sido vendedora ambulante en la ciudad de Nueva York durante 6 años. Vivo en Queens, trabajo en Queens. A causa de la pandemia, ser vendedora ambulante fue mi única opción, ya que perdí mi trabajo de limpieza de casas. Y ahora, con la situación migratoria, es muy difícil obtener un trabajo.
O sea, no tienes tu permiso para trabajar todavía. Ok. Entonces solamente no tienes permiso o residencia. Okay, I'm going to translate now. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Rosario Troncoso. I'm a member of the directors or the board of directors of Street Vendor Project. I have been a street vendor in the city of New York during the last 6 years. I'm living in the city of Queens, New York, and also working in Queens, New York. Due to the pandemic, being a street vendor was my only option in order for me to survive, right? But I lost my job. I used to clean houses. I used to clean houses of families and people. And due to my immigration status, I don't have a U.S. work permission, or I don't have a green card in order for me to work legally in the U.S. So my immigration situation is bad. So that's why it's very difficult for me to obtain a job.
Sí, sí, sí. Los vendedores ambulantes son los negocios más pequeños de la ciudad y cada día los vendedores ambulantes interactúan con muchas agencias diferentes.
Un segundo, ¿agencias de gobierno?
Sí.
Ok, está bien, continúa.
Desde agencias municipales, locales hasta el gobierno federal.
Okay. The street vendors are very small businesses here in New York City. And every day, the street vendors interact with other government agencies, agencies that are different one from another, right? Some of these government agencies are the municipal local agencies that are supported by the federal government. The local municipal agencies and also the federal government, okay? Vamos a ahora leer desde aquí hasta aquí, pues, un poquito
Ok, sí, sí. Hemos visto redadas de ICE en Canal Street y en muchas otras partes de la ciudad. Las autoridades federales de inmigración están poniendo en la mira a nuestros compañeros y necesitamos estar preparados para eso. Le solicitamos al Consejo Municipal que se asegure de que el Street Vendor Project cuente con los recursos necesarios para continuar con la labor de educación y alcance callejero sobre el tema. Conozca sus derechos, la cual ya está llevando a cabo.
Miss Thomas, just want to clarify something. Yes. Alcance callejero, ¿a qué te refieres?
A que vamos a las calles con los vendedores ambulantes a darles información de
Okay, está bien. Okay. We have seen immigration irate, especially in Canal Street and also in other parts of New York City. The federal authorities of immigration, they are looking at us. We are like, they have, the eyes over us all the time. Not only me, but also my workmates. And we need to be prepared to face the strikes, right, that the immigration ICE is doing to us, right? That's what we are requesting from the municipal council, from the city council, that you approve and you secure the street vendor project so we can come with the necessary resources to continue our work and also to continue with the work of education and to reach other street vendors who need this information in New York City to protect themselves. And also about the subject that you should know your rights, and this is taking place at the moment. It's taking place right now.
Como vendedor ambulante recibo estas carpetas estas carpetas del Street Vendor Project, incluyendo información sobre cómo administrar un negocio, los derechos de los neoyorquinos inmigrantes, y está en 6 idiomas: inglés, español, árabe, chino, bangla, francés.
El idioma de Bangladesh, que es decir, Bengali. Okay, okay. As a street vendor, we're receiving these carpets that you see here, these folders, right? And the carpets had the name Street Vendor Project Urban Justice Center, right? This is written in different languages. Some of the languages that are written are English, Spanish, Arabic language, Chinese, Bengali, the language spoken in Bangladesh, French. And this teach also how to administer a business.
Sí.
Okay, continue.
Estas carpetas obtienen cómo administrar un negocio, los derechos de los neoyorquinos inmigrantes. Las agencias municipales no nos proporcionan estos recursos, no nos informan sobre cómo protegernos de situaciones como registros ilegales o actividades inconstitucionales. El Street Vendor Project es quien nos brinda esta información.
Just one second, Ms. Thomas. ¿Qué quieres decir con registros ilegales en este caso, en este contexto? Entiendo la expresión, pero ¿qué significa registros ilegales?
Como que no nos hay venta de permisos que no son legales.
Oh, o sea, venta de permisos que no son legales.
Que no son legales.
Okay, they teach us how to administer a business, how to provide the rights of the immigrant New Yorkers that are here, and the municipal agencies are not providing these resources to us or to others. And they are not providing information on how to protect ourselves from different situations, for example, like illegal registrations. What she means, Mrs. Thomas, is a lot of people who are evil, they are selling those permits, right? They're fake. They are not really real. So with those permits, you cannot do anything. They just care about money, to take the money just to use it for that. And also in constitutional activities, the Street Vendor Project is the agency who's providing this information to us.
También estoy aquí para pedirles que inviertan en la implementación del paquete de reforma para vendedores ambulantes, Street Vendor Reformar Package. Por favor, asegúrense de que el DCWP, así como el SBS, cuenten con los recursos necesarios para implementar dicho paquete de reforma de manera efectiva. Muchas gracias.
Okay, gracias. Okay, and also here to request from all of you to invest in the implementation of the Street Vendor Reform Package. Please be sure that the DCUP and as the SBS are counting with the necessary resources to implement this package, because this package should be approved and implemented in an effective way. Thank you very much for your time. ¿Eso es todo? ¿Quieres decir algo más?
Bueno, sí quisiera agregar algo más que pues ahorita necesitamos mucho ese apoyo porque habemos muchos vendedores ambulantes que lamentablemente no tenemos una situación migratoria legal, el cual no podemos obtener un trabajo. O sea, somos demasiados ahorita los vendedores ambulantes que necesitamos obtener un permiso o una licencia para poder trabajar y que no seamos acosados por la policía, por el Departamento de Sanidad.
Yes, I should ask you for help because now all the street vendors had the benefit to have like a work permit in the United States or to have a green card. So it's very hard for all of us to work with our green card or with our work permit because we have been harassed by the police, being harassed by other government agencies. And also, you never know, we have to live with this fear. The ICE can be coming to us any moment. So really, I would like to appreciate all your help and cooperation so they can approve this package. Eso es todo. Sí, ¿no?
Gracias.
Okay. Thank you for your help.
Thank you.
Okay. Miss Thomas, she will move 1 second. We'll sit down to be able to.
No problem.
Okay. Muchas gracias. Okay. ¿Escribiste algo? ¿Oh, es lo mismo?
Es lo mismo, pero que yo vendo en Brooklyn.
Oh, Miss Thomas, I'm not sure you want me to translate again, but it's the same information that was written by her.
Okay.
Or she just can't say what she thinks, right?
It's up to her.
¿Quieres decir algo para que ellos te puedan escuchar? Algo que viene de tu propia voz y yo te traduzco. Ok, puedes hablar. Tranquila.
Mi nombre es Isabel Rosario. Mi nombre es Isabel Rosario. Pertenezco a la directiva de NCP y he vendido en Brooklyn, New York, durante 18 años. El primer día que yo llegué vendí piragua. Y piragua es hielo, ice.
En español dominicano.
Sí,
Okay,
en
está bien.
español.
Yes, I got
Pues
it
sí,
now.
el primer día yo vendí $247 y yo me iba a poner loca.
Okay, un
Porque
segundo, okay? Un segundo. My name is, ¿tu apellido?
Isabel Rosario.
Okay, my name is Isabel Rosario. I'm a member of the direct board of Street Vendor Project. I have been working as a street vendor in the city of New York in the last 18 years. And also living in Brooklyn. ¿Qué dice aquí? Trabajo.
Sí, que trabajo en la 55.
And I'm working in 50th Street and 5th Avenue. And I've been working as a street vendor since I came from the Dominican Republic to the United States. I remember the first day when I was selling things. I was selling something in Dominican Spanish called piragua. And this is like kind of like ice with water. And I sold around $247 of this. And I was really happy. I got a little crazy about this. Continúa.
Sí. Entonces, porque hay mismo testimonio, pero yo puedo dar un testimonio que he tenido mucha experiencia, pertenezco a los vendedores desde el 2012.
2012.
Desde el 2012. He tenido mucha experiencia, especialmente después que pertenezco a la directiva, pero quiero que ustedes, por ejemplo, en todo, traten de ayudar.
Un segundo, okay? Okay, I'm a street vendor for a very long time and also very experienced. And also, I've been member of the board of directors of this street vendor project since the year 2012. But I really need your help and your cooperation with the situation because, you know, I'm really working for many years in this kind of work and I'm really very experienced, but we also need your help and support.
Pues sí, entonces yo como miembro de la directiva siempre andamos por la quinta orientando la quinta avenida de Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Sally o más personas nos facilitan de los vendedores, nos facilitan folletos, a veces más otro folleto para cada actividad y la gente se siente orgullosa de...
Yes, and me and my colleagues, including Salik, my colleague here, and other street vendors, we go together to different parts of New York, including Sunset Park and 50th Street and 5th Avenue, and we're sharing these flyers with other street vendors and people who need it, because we can use this to provide this information that maybe they don't know in advance, and they can get to know what is happening with this street vendor project.
Sí, que traten de ayudar lo más que uno pueda y que me siento orgullosa de sentirme aquí porque soy dominicana y cuando yo me siento que estoy con el municipio de, por ejemplo, La Ley, que es la ciudad, el municipio de la ciudad, que esto pertenece a la ciudad y los felicito a todos y gracias por todo.
Yes, I wanted to say thank you to all of you for your support. You know, I'm a Dominican lady and also very proud for my country and for what I am, and also to be here in the New York City Council hearing with all of you. And I'm thankful to what you do for us and what you're going to do in the future. And thank you so much for everything.
No, ya.
Bien, necesitas interpretación.
Thank you.
Ok.
Puedes hablar con confianza.
Buenos días. Muchas gracias por la oportunidad de estar aquí. Mi nombre es Marta Herrera y soy representante de la organización Las Doñas. Las Doñas es una comunidad de mujeres migrantes que estamos involucradas en ayudar a la comunidad para sentir de cerca los problemas que están pasando en nuestra comunidad.
Dame un segundo, okay. Good morning. My name is Marta Herrera. I'm an organizer or a community organization who I'm representing. It's called Las Doñas. Oh, sorry, I think the phone went away. My apologies. Okay. This is a net or immigrant women de diferentes países hispanos, ¿cierto? From different Spanish-speaking countries and other countries. Some of them are very hard workers, and they are owners and CEOs of small businesses, and they also working as street vendors. Continúa.
Hoy quiero ser muy clara. Las políticas migratorias actuales no solo están afectando a las comunidades migrantes, están debilitando la economía de la ciudad de Nueva York desde la base. En esta ciudad, casi la mitad de los pequeños negocios, alrededor del 48%, son propiedad de inmigrantes. Esto no es solo un dato menor. Significa que los inmigrantes no son un sector aislado, son una parte estructural de la economía local.
Dame un segundo. I wanted to be clear about something. All these immigration tactics used by the federal government or President Trump, right? It's not only affecting the immigrants community, it's also affecting the economy of our city, New York City. It's affecting the economy very badly from the basis. In this city, almost half of the small businesses that are owned those businesses are owned by immigrants, right? It's around 48% are owned by immigrants, and they are property of immigrants. This is not a minor data. That means that the immigrants are in a sector that is isolated, and it's a part of the structural part of the local economy, and that's why I decide to express this information I'm saying right now. Continúa. 48%. Sí. Los inmigrantes son hispanos o diferentes países.
De todos los inmigrantes.
Está bien.
Y si hablamos de vendedores ambulantes, la cifra es aún más contundente. Cerca del 96% de los vendedores ambulantes en Nueva York son inmigrantes. Ellos alimentan y sostienen nuestra economía y dan vida a las calles de esta ciudad todos los días. Sin embargo, hoy estos trabajadores y dueños de negocio están operando bajo un clima de miedo constante.
Dame un segundo, okay. And we were talking before about the business owners who were street vendors, but if we're talking about the street vendors themselves, they're even more than that. They're around 90% of the immigrants are street vendors here, and they are feeding people, and so they're feeding the families, they are supporting the families, and they are giving light to our streets of the city of New York. However, these workers and these small business owners are operating under constant fear. What I mean constant fear, they are very scared of this immigration race, of this ICE, and this is really terrible to live like this, you know?
Tienen miedo de salir a trabajar, miedo de tomar el transporte público, miedo de usar sus teléfonos,
celulares, ¿cierto?
Sí, sus teléfonos celulares, miedo de ser detenidos o criminalizados. Y este miedo no es abstracto.
Okay. They are afraid to go to work. They are afraid to use public transportation. They are even afraid to use their own cellular phone. They are afraid to be detained, and they are afraid to be criminalized. And this fear is not abstract.
Cuando una persona tiene miedo, no trabaja con estabilidad. Cuando uno no trabaja, no hay ingresos. Y cuando uno no tiene ingresos, no hay consumo. Y cuando no hay consumo, los negocios cierran. Es así de simple, así de grave. Lo que estamos viviendo es un efecto dominó.
Okay, dame un segundo, okay? When a person is living in constant fear, the person cannot have stability in their work, right? If a person doesn't work, the person doesn't get any earnings. If the person doesn't have any earnings, the person doesn't consume anything. If they don't consume anything, you know what this will cause? They will cause the businesses to close because they are not consuming anything. And this is very simple and it's very serious what is happening. This is what is happening to us, and it's a very big fear. It's a very big effect.
Menos confianza, menos participación económica, más aislamiento y más cierre de negocios. Y quiero decirlo con toda claridad, esto no es solo un problema migratorio, es un problema de política pública y de estabilidad económica para toda la ciudad.
Okay, gracias. Dame un segundo. And this will be less trust, less economical participation. We will be more isolated. This will also cause more businesses, even small businesses, to close. And I'm going to say with all clarity, this is not only an immigration problem. This is a problem of public health. It's a problem of economical stability. And it's a problem of economical stability for all New York City.
Los pequeños negocios no están fallando, están siendo empujados a fallar por condiciones estructurales de miedo e incertidumbre. Y cuando la mitad de la economía de pequeños negocios de esta ciudad depende de inmigrantes, lo que está en riesgo no es un grupo, es la ciudad entera.
Dame un segundo. The small business are not failing. This is not a problem. They are being pushed away, and they are failing because of the structural conditions that are there, and because of the fear they are living, and because of the uncertainty. And when half of the economy of these small businesses in this city are dependent from the immigrants, what is causing, they are risking this group, and this is affecting the entire city of New York.
Si Nueva York quiere sostener su economía, no puede hacerlo criminalizando a quienes la construyen todos los días. Necesitamos políticas que protejan la estabilidad, no que las destruyan. Necesitamos seguridad para trabajar, no miedo constante.
Dame un segundo, okay? If New York City wanted to sustain their economy, they should not sustain the economy criminalizing the people who are supporting this economy or building this economy, or the ones who want to construct or build the economy every day. We need political help to protect this stability. We don't need people who will destroy it. We need security, we need safety in order to work okay. We don't need any constant fear.
Y necesitamos reconocer algo fundamental. Sin inmigrantes, Nueva York simplemente no funciona. Gracias.
Okay. And we need to recognize something very important. It's very also essential. New York without immigrants will not work. It's very simple. New York City without immigrants will not work. Thank you for your help.
New York without immigrants would not exist.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Can you translate?
Yes. Sé que Nueva York sin inmigrantes no va a existir completamente, no va a existir. Dice, thank you
Gracias.
for your support.
Pero yo quisiera hacer una pregunta para los
I
vendedores, pero no
I
esa
think you have a
parte.
question. ¿Quieres decir algo más?
Pero no sé si puede, pregúntale si puede hacer una pregunta de lo que estaba escuchando de los vendedores ambulantes. ¿O no?
She was wondering if she can ask a question about something that she heard about the street vendors. Can she ask a question? Un momentico. ¿Qué pregunta es, sabes?
No, yo nada más quería
I'll come back around. I'm going to let the last panelist come, and then she can ask the question.
Okay. Vamos a esperar por el panelista, luego hacemos la pregunta. Jan, you are the last panelist, right? You are the last panelist, right? The last one, right? Okay. So after you finish, we can ask the question for her as well. Vamos a dejarla que ya continúe.
And you may begin.
Okay.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Sally Weathers, and I'm the lead organizer of the Street Vendor Project. I would like to thank Chair Encarnacion and Chair Thomas Henry and the committee members for the opportunity to testify today. As the only organization that exclusively serves street vendors in New York City, SVP is the centralized hub for this underserved population, providing critical small business and legal services to vendors since 2001. We respectfully request support from New York City Council to sustain and expand our essential Know Your Rights education for immigrant street vendors. A growing workforce of more than 23,000 entrepreneurs makes a living from the streets and sidewalks of New York City. According to a 2024 report by Immigration Research Initiative in collaboration with SVP, 96% of street vendors are immigrants. 81% vend as their main source of income, and 65% live in a household with one or more children. Vendors are at an increased risk in the current political environment because they work in public spaces. Many lack access to licenses and permits and are in urgent need of outreach and advocacy to make sure they know their rights, but in languages that they know and from people that they trust. This dramatically increases the need for SVP services as the organization provides accessible, multilingual outreach and education to vendors. From July 1st, 2025 to March 1st, 2026, just from support from this council initiative alone, SVP has engaged 392 individual vendors, provided Know Your Rights trainings attended by 161 immigrant vendors, and trained 184 volunteers to support with outreach. We are a small team, only 6 outreach staff, but collectively we speak 7 languages on staff to ensure we meet street vendor needs. With the council's support, we have created vendor-specific immigration Know Your Rights materials in 7 languages: Spanish, Arabic, Mandarin, Bangla, Wolof, French, and English. Our multilingual team distributes these resources to immigrant vendors through weekly street outreach to vendor carts and trucks, commissary garages, to the places where vendors work directly, in order to equip vendors with the tools they need to protect themselves while vending in public space, should they have an interaction with immigration enforcement. While also connecting them to legal resources and emergency planning kits. We distribute whistles so vendors can warn each other when ICE is in the area, and we add vendors to our language-based text chats so they can share and receive on-the-ground updates. Our outreach model prioritizes one-on-one conversations with vendors, empowering vendors to become community ambassadors who share knowledge with their customers as they have deep connections themselves in their neighborhoods. Additionally, because we are membership-based, when we engage with vendors, we're engaging them in our community and collecting emergency contact information should a situation arise. Thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you.
Ms. Thomas, she doesn't have the question written yet. It's possible to
Okay,
send them
my
an
staff-
email?
Yes, please.
Oh,
And a member of my staff will be here shortly, so I can direct her to the staff to help address.
Oh, Ms. Thomas, something else. She have an English translation of her testimony, the one she read in Spanish. So she can also send it to all of you, and the translation was done very well in English.
Yes, she can submit it to testimony@council.nyc.gov. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Un poquito.
Thank you for everything she's saying.
Thank you. Our next panel, Arjun Kim, Carolyn Cohen, Jackie Harrington, and Hassan Shafquilla. Thank you. You may begin.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Ayon Kim. I serve as the Director of Programs at the Asian American Federation. We are a citywide umbrella organization working with 70 member partner organizations. For many Asian immigrant-owned businesses, for all immigrant-owned businesses. These immigration policy changes compounded with enforcement anxiety, means of formation, lack of trusted legal guidances are affecting workforce participation, business operations, consumer behavior, and overall the health of neighborhood commercial corridors. And across immigrant commercial corridors, declining foot traffic is weakening daily revenue. And when families are afraid to leave their home, access benefits, or seek services because of concerns for their own safety, local businesses are feeling the impact through empty sidewalks and reduced spending. We are also seeing financial warning signs in the macroeconomy. One of our partners, Renaissance EDC, has told me that their delinquency rates for small business loans have risen back to levels seen during the COVID pandemic period. Although macroeconomy on the paper says like the stock market is going well and the economy is going well, that's not the lives of immigrant business owners or our neighbors today. Last year, AAF and our partners heard significant concern regarding I-9 audits. There was no outreach, no in-language information, no clarification about what exactly are the business owner's responsibility and how to solve issues if they have not actually had I-9s ready. In lieu of this reliable information outreach, business organizations organized seminars on their own to help their members, and those who couldn't even do that reached out to AAF for legal guidance. In addition, many longtime skilled workers left workforce or self-deported last year, and this is especially significant in the Asian community, where a lot of business owners are working with employees that may have entered the U.S. Legally or with documentation, but later fell out of documentation, and they didn't really see an opportunity on how to correct themselves or where to seek help. This kind of anxiety and fear in our community can only be mediated through a trusted community infrastructure. Through our Rapid Immigrant Support and Empowerment Network, which is also called RISE Network, the AAF is coordinating rapid response with Asian-led organizations to provide immigration legal referrals, know your rights education, and case management in the language and settings our communities trust. We request the Council to sustain this work and support us by increasing funding for the legal services for AAPI Communities Initiative that funds the RISE Network. Last year, it was at around $2 million. This year, we're asking for $3.5 million in fiscal 27. This will be a targeted investment from the Council in trusted legal access, accurate information, and rapid response capacity that helps stabilize Asian immigrant families, workers, small businesses, and commercial corridors that they anchor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next.
Good morning. I'm Hassan Shafiqullah from the Legal Aid Society. I am a supervising attorney in our law reform unit, and I used to be the head of our immigration practice during the first Trump administration. And thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. My written testimony will address work permits, civil immigration fines, H-1B fees, fees under the One Terrible Bill Act, the Small Business Association loan forms, and warrantless arrests. But in my 2 minutes, I'll focus on just a few things. For I-9 audits, we recognize the concern around the difficulty in advising people what's up with your work permit, given the termination of temporary protected status, but then litigation bringing TPS back into play and then stays from the Supreme Court and the back and forth, termination of humanitarian parole, reduced validity periods for work permits, and the elimination of extensions. And so I think it'll be really important for the city to provide guidance to small businesses around, like for each of these categories, like TPS countries and humanitarian parole, at any given moment, like what's happening with work permit validity. The second thing, and I'm flagging this in particular for the council members, constituent liaisons, there are civil immigration fines that the Trump administration is assessing against people. These are fines that have been on the books since '96, but no president other than Trump has used them. They used them during the first administration and now this one, up to $1.8 million per person for failure to depart after a removal order, which is crazy because it's only if you're willfully failing to depart, but some people have a reason to be here. I might be here with an order of supervision from ICE. I might be seeking relief. I might have deferred action as a special immigrant juvenile, whatever. And so many of these fines are unlawful, but people are getting hit with them anyway. We're litigating this with some national partners in the District of Massachusetts, hoping to get a preliminary injunction next week. But you might be getting questions from constituents. I just want to let you know, we put together a website, noimmigrationfines.org, where people can get practice advisories and sample opposition briefs, both for unrepresented people and for attorneys. I know I'm out of time, but I'll just flag two more things. We're hearing a lot about the fear in communities in terms of like the ICE warrantless arrests that are going on, and people are afraid to go to stores and walk to their jobs or whatever. We're litigating that together with the New York Civil Liberties Union and Make the Road New York, hoping to get a preliminary injunction in that case, hopefully next month. And then finally, wanted to flag, I think that was all. My last thing before I stop is I work part-time in a bakery as a baker, and we have a roll gate. And so we're also very keyed into local law 75. So anything you can do, thank you.
Thank you so much. Please do not change your roll gate. We're working on it.
You may proceed.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Chair Thomas Henry and Chair Encarnacion, for the opportunity to testify today. Carlin Cowan, pronouns they, them. I'm the Chief Policy and Public Affairs Officer at CPC, the Chinese American Planning Council. We serve 80,000 Asian American and immigrant New Yorkers in all 5 boroughs each year, and we're proud members of the Asian American Federation as well as the RISE Network. Our written testimony covers a number of the issues that have already been brought up today, but with the time I have, I want to tell you a quick story about one of our community members. One of our kiddos that's in our after-school program, a 6-year-old, we learned that her father, a deliverista, had been detained by ICE. He had missed a routine check-in because he had been hit by a car while on his delivery route, and ICE came to his house and detained him afterwards. Through the RISE Network, we were able to actually represent him with our own in-house attorney that is Mandarin and Spanish trilingual, and we were able to offer wraparound support to the entire family because, as you can imagine, it was incredibly traumatizing for our kiddo, for her mom, who has her own immigration case. And so in addition to filing a habeas for the dad, working with ICE to get the appointments in language, going back and forth, we were also able to offer mental health support, support with extra childcare, food, clothing for the mom and our kiddo. The kiddo recently wrote a letter to the judge that said, please let my dad out of jail. And you can only imagine just the mental health impact of that. We're also really pleased to share that we won his release and the right to remain in the United States very recently. And that's only possible through the RISE Network. And the thing is, the need is so much greater than what we can offer. So that's why we're standing with Asian American Federation, asking for an increase to $3.5 million this year. I also want to mention that the Trans and Queer Network is putting out a new initiative ask for immigrant LGBTQ legal services specifically that we're also supporting. And thank you for the work that you're doing, and thank you for your support of immigrant New Yorkers.
Thank you. You may begin.
This is my first time using this, so I apologize. First and foremost, I want to say I'm very transparent, and I hope that I don't offend anybody with the language that I use, but this is the language that I'm going to use. I think one of the issues that we have here in this in New York City that I have experienced so far is pertaining to people not knowing their immigration statuses. And unfortunately, the federal government has sealed records for some immigrants that do not know that they are immigrants, especially when they are adopted into American families, which of course causes a lot of problems and confusion for when they believe that they're actually a citizen, when they're classified federally or city, state-wise as not. In my experience here, now knowing for me personally that I was an immigrant, but all my life for 40 years believing that I was a United States citizen, there have been a lot of issues with my employment, my housing, and my community all in general. And so in that particular instance, I came to New York City hoping for a better opportunity and also a better understanding, which I have gotten. Unfortunately, during that time, I have been human trafficked. I have been raped. I have had directed energy weapons, which is on the US, it's the US patents on the United Nations website if you want to look them up. I have had a very horrible experience, and it has trickled down not just from the federal government, but into the Department of Education, the Department of Social Services, the nonprofit organizations that are supposed to be here to help immigrants and United States citizens in housing, public assistance in general. There's been a lot of fraud on my name since I've gotten here through the Department of Social Services. People like to throw somebody's name. He left already, Yusuf. I do not know him, and I'm not speaking as if he is an issue in this. However, unfortunately, some of the staff members in the social services have mentioned his name when I felt that they were doing abuses of their authority. So that is an issue for me, considering that they are not handling their conduct properly in that particular aspect. Sorry. As my last name being Harrington, I really was hoping that my experience here, since it was founded by Harringtons, would be a better experience. Unfortunately, I have not had that experience here, and I'm still continuing not to have that experience here. However, I am learning the intricacies of this particular area, and I just wanted to put that in as my testimony. Also, I will educate myself better on the language that I should be using here, and I will definitely be emailing my interpretation of that to the testimony email that you gave us. Thank you.
No problem, and thank you for your testimony today. Behind you, I have a staffer. If you would like to speak with someone about what you're going through, that can help you. Appreciate you.
No, I just want to thank you all for really supporting the folks that are going through this on the ground. I know we're trying to get as much resources out there, trying to increase as much as we can. Fortunately, this budget season has been a little bit tricky for us as a city, but I know that my colleagues have all been kind of threading the needle when it comes to immigration and small businesses and housing and how we do our workforce development and all of these things, and understanding how interconnected these issues are and really speaking on it during this budget process. So I'm hoping that we can get some relief for you all and for the people that you serve.
Yes, thank you. And I like when people ask for what they want. Thank you. We have one more in person, Roberto Bear. Roberto, you may begin when you're ready.
Hi, good afternoon, council members. My name is Roberto Beltri. I am the son of 2 immigrants from Costa Rica and Dominican Republic. My parents started businesses in our neighborhood, and now I have the great honor of having my own business in Sunset Park. I came out today to advocate for the reversal of Local Law 75 of 2009, which states businesses in New York have to change our security gates from solid gates to ones with 70% visibility by July 1st. That's just 55 days away. This ruling proposed in 2009, but I was a junior in high school. You know, I was not paying attention to city council. And I went through a full year of finalizing architectural drawings, having Department of Buildings inspect my spot, pass us, all that stuff. Nobody ever mentioned it at all. It was my neighbor who told me about it just 6 weeks ago. My neighborhood is majority immigrant, a community right now that is hurting. An estimate of my small storefront was just $3.5 thousand. My neighbor, who's a Mexican immigrant, had an estimate of $5,000. As you said, half of our businesses are led by immigrants. This city is asking thousands of immigrants like my neighbors to pay these gate companies thousands, that's millions of dollars out of our communities in just 55 days. This ruling is going to affect thousands of businesses all over the 5 boroughs like me who are just trying to survive. I've only made it to my 2nd year because I have the privilege of operating my business out of a home that my family owns. If it wasn't because of that, I would be gone, A cost this high will cause some to close. These are all people who have invested in their communities and their city, and every day a reversal of this ruling is not announced on other businesses deciding to waste thousands because of the anxiety that this is creating. This isn't just a financial loss, though. This is a cultural loss as well, because if we just grandfather these gates, these existing gates, we're also killing future murals, because I spent thousands of dollars commissioning an artist to create a mural on my gate. And if we just grandfather these gates, that's going to stop any murals from happening in the future. So please reverse local law 75. Thank you.
We hear you. We hear you. We hear you.
Yes, I texted my co-sponsors. There's three of us that shared this. I think four now that share this legislation that we're proposing. We're working out the language and putting it out. And we also put out some information in regard an op-ed, trying to get it picked up by as many news outlets as possible, but we are trying to go through some of the bids, which was the catalyst for us even understanding that this was now being communicated to our businesses was through our bids. So we're trying. We're hoping to get it passed soon.
Great. Thank you for your time, and I'll let my neighbors know what you told me.
Yes,
Thank you.
please.
Yes, pause on changes right now. Thank you. We will now turn to virtual panelists. For virtual panelists, once your name is called, a member of our staff will unmute you, and the sergeant at arms will set the timer and give you the go-ahead to begin. Please wait for the sergeant to announce that you may begin before delivering your testimony. Now I will call the first virtual panelist. Christopher Johnson, are you on?
Starting time.
Hello. My name is Christopher Leon Johnson. Yeah, I just got at John McCarthy. You see the video later on about MTA making fair bus fast and free. But I'm going to say this right now that I just got another nonprofit early out at City Hall, outside City Hall, which is working towards this project. And I'm going to say this right now that they need to step up and really call for legal providing for the deliveristas. They need to call for more legal services for the deliveristas. They need to step up the plate. I'll say this right now that shout out to the city council for helping out with the NYPD, stop criminalizing the deliveristas. But the MTA, the city council needs to step up when it comes to stop the criminalization of immigrants when it comes to fare evasion. I just got John McCarthy about that. Remove the NYPD from the Eagle team, helping out the Eagle team when it comes to fare evasion. That's how you really make sure the immigrants don't get harassed more by the NYPD when it comes to this immigration problem in New York City. I'll say that right now. But going forward, I'll say this right now: the city council have to make sure that the street vendors, which I'm a city hall right now, the street vendor does not stop being harassed by the NYPD going forward. I understand that the city council was instrumental in implementing a law to where that the NYPD are not stopping the criminalization of migrants when it comes to street vending. But I'm calling on the city council to make a bill in the city council to where that the sanitation police department cannot be criminalizing street vendors. I'm calling on you, Mrs. Elise Crayon, to introduce a bill in the city council to where that the SDNY police are not allowed to criminalize street vendors. Once that happens, I believe that the city council will be really straight and where they really say they care about standing for the migrants. So I can't say a lot, and but I hope you do that in the future. Introduce a bill for this, and that's all I gotta say. And one more thing, that it's a lot that you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? So God
Your
is great.
time has
Thank
expired.
you so much. I gotta go to another hearing. So enjoy.
Thank you. Next up, we have Melissa Chua.
Starting time.
Hi, good afternoon, Chair, council members, and staff. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Melissa Chua. I'm the director of the Immigrant Protection Unit at the New York Legal Assistance Group, NYLAG. You've already heard a lot today about the devastating impact of the fear sowed by widespread unconstitutional and illegal ICE detentions in our community. NYLAG is part of the Rapid Response Legal Collaborative, through which we provide legal services to non-citizens who are detained or at risk for detention, and the Pro Se Plus project, through which we provide advocacy in and out of court for non-citizens who are facing the process alone. As we've also heard about today, the evisceration of protections like TPS for thousands of New Yorkers, the deprivation of due process rights for asylum seekers, and prolonged waiting times for affirmative benefits have had devastating economic impacts. But what I wanted to also talk about today was the effect of truncated asylum hearings in which non-citizens are hurriedly ordered removed without the protections of due process, which has resulted in immigrant New Yorkers being deprived of long-term stability and relief and employment and authorization in the short term. The need to support pro se immigrant New Yorkers in appeals to keep their cases alive and potentially continue their employment authorization has never been higher. These cases are complex and require real advocacy, but are necessary to provide basic protections in immigration court and keep the promises of stability alive. Through our legal services, Nycc has sought to provide full legal services screenings for individuals who may be losing employment authorization because of the end of protections like TPS. But we've also provided habeas petitions, appeals, and motions for individuals who face enforcement, detention, as well as economic instability. For these reasons, the city can support immigrant communities enduring the harmful effects of these changes by supporting community-based organizations directly assisting immigrant communities and legal services agencies. The assaults on the livelihoods of working immigrant New Yorkers only increase the need for high-quality
Your time has
legal
expired.
services. Thank you for your ongoing commitment to our work and our communities, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you for your testimony. We have now heard from everyone who has signed up to testify. If we inadvertently missed anyone who would like to testify in person, please visit the sergeant's table and complete a witness slip now. If we inadvertently missed anyone who would like to testify virtually, please use the raise hand function in Zoom, and a member of our staff will call on you in the order of your hand raised. Seeing no one else, I would like to note again that written testimony, which will be reviewed in full by committee staff, may be submitted to testimony@council.nyc.gov up to 72 hours after the close of this hearing. This hearing is now closed.